folks. I believe that love is the answer, but you ought to own a handgun just in case.
How would you like to be remembered? I mean, what would you like the first line of a history book about Robert Kennedy to say?
I think something about the fact that I made some contribution to either, my country or or those who are less well off. I think, again, back to what Camus wrote about the fact that perhaps this world is a world in which children suffer, but we can lessen the number of suffering children. And if you do not do this, then who will do this? And I'd like to feel that I'd done something to lessen that suffering.
For 20 years, I've gotten up every morning on my knees and prayed that God would put me in a position where I can end the childhood chronic disease epidemic in this country. On August 23rd of last year, God sent me President Trump. All right. And he gave me... He's now given me, he's kept every promise that he's made to me. He's kept his word in every account and gone way beyond it. I'm so grateful to you, Mr. President. A lot of people told me that I couldn't trust President Trump. I better get it in writing. And we did a handshake, and everything that he told me he was going to do, he has done. Right. And I'm so grateful to him, and I've told you before, I genuinely believe that you are a pivotal historical figure, and you are going to transform this country.
if we declare war on the cartel, these dudes are not going to understand what the fuck is going on. They are in for a world of like ultra violence they've never actually felt before, because you know, obviously this is a very capable ultra violent organization. They have fucking no clue.
If you were like, yo, we're gonna wipe out a cartel tonight, I'd have been like, I'll load my frags extra careful.
If we organize these tier 1 units against them.
Is that a real thing that they've proposed doing?
Yes, that is a real thing.
Who proposed that?
Furthermore, I will order the Department of Defense to make appropriate use of special forces, cyber warfare, and other overt and covert actions to inflict maximum damage on cartel leadership, infrastructure, and operations. I will designate the major cartels as foreign terror.
Society didn't break you. It just made you think you were broken. From your first day in school, you learned to judge yourself, your grades, your looks, your achievements, your worth. Each time you couldn't match these perfect standards, you told yourself something was wrong with you. Each failure felt like proof you weren't enough. But nobody told you the secret. These impossible standards weren't made to help you grow. They were made to keep you doubting, keep you seeking, keep you thinking you needed to be fixed. Years of your life spent chasing an impossible perfect version of yourself. Years believing you weren't good enough as you were. Years trying to fix something that was never broken. Your quirks aren't flaws. Your differences aren't mistakes. Your humanity isn't something to apologize for. Stop trying to fix yourself. Start unlearning what the world taught you about being broken. You're not flawed. You're not broken. You're just human. And that's exactly what you're supposed to be.
Return to sender. Return to sender. I gave a letter to the postman. He put it in his sack. Bright and early next morning, he brought my letter back. She wrote upon it, return to sender. Address unknown. No such number. No such zone. We had a quarrel, a lover's spat. I write, I'm sorry, but my letter keeps coming back. So then I dropped it in the mailbox as in a special deed. Bright and early next morning, it came right back to me. She wrote upon it, return to sender. Address unknown. No such person. No such zone. This time I'm gonna take it myself and put it right in her hand. And if it comes back the very next day, then I'll understand. The writing on it, return to sender. Address unknown. No such number. No such zone. Return to sender. Return to sender. Return to sender. Return.
I had a dream the other night. I didn't understand. A figure walking through the mist with a rifle in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by the bed. He took off his three-cornered hat and, speaking low, he said,
"We fought a revolution to secure your liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave to make you the land of the free and home of the brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we thought you'd always keep. but tyrants labor endlessly. While your parents were asleep, now your freedom's gone, your courage is lost, you're no more than a slave in your land of the free and home of the brave. You buy permits to travel, permits to own a gun, permits to start a business or build a place for one. On land you think you own, you pay your yearly rent.
But you don't have a voice in saying how that money's spent.
Now your children attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about your current news in a regulated press and pay more taxes than you owe to that thing called IRS.
Your money's no longer made of silver or of gold. You trade your wealth for paper so your life can be controlled.
And you pay for crimes that make your nation turn from God in shame. Now you've taken Satan's number and traded in your name. You give your government control to those who could do you harm, so they could padlock churches and steal the family farm and keep the nation deep in debt while putting men of faith in jail, and then harass your fellow countrymen while your corrupt courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn, and now your daughters visit doctors so their children won't be born. You send guns and artillery to foreign shore, and then you send your youth to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Could you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died, or have you lost your courage and your faith to stand with pride?
Are there no more values for which you fight to save?
Or do you wish your children to live in fear and be a slave? And people of this republic, it's time to rise and take a stand. Defend the Constitution, the supreme law of your land. Preserve your great republic and every God-given right. And let us pray to God to keep that torch of freedom burning bright.
Income taxes. You realize that until 1913 in America, we had no income taxes. And the government thrived. It was doing just fine. Income taxes are the greatest fraud ever perpetrated on the American public. The Constitution forbids it, and yet we have it as an amendment. So what do income taxes do for the government? It relieves the burden from the government of actually doing any work. Don't have to collecting revenues. Don't have to be creative, don't have to do anything. And it has 50 million people that do their paperwork every year. Every year. So we do the work, fill out the forms, and give them all of the documentation of our life. And they just collect the money. I'm sorry, I just think that's the coolest joke ever perpetrated on an unsuspecting people. Nobody's so unsuspecting.
I'm the dirt beneath your feet. this time, I'm sure you'll know that I am here. 'Cause I know I'm headed for the bottom. I know I'm headed for the bottom. I know I'm headed for the bottom. But I'm riding you all the way. Yeah, I'm riding you all the way. Riding you all the way. Riding you all the My place was beneath you, but now I am above. And now I send you a message of love. A simple reminder of what you won't see. A future so holy without me. I know I'm headed for the bottom. I know I'm headed for the bottom. I know I'm headed for the
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore can love. It's all that I can give to you. Love is
We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. We jumped, never asking why. We kissed, I fell under your spell of love. No one could deny. Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always want you. I can't live a lie, running for my life. I will always want you. I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break your walls. All you ever did was wreck me. Yeah, you wrecked me. I put you high up in the sky, and now you're not coming down. It slowly turned, you let me burn, and now we're ashes on the ground. Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always want you. I can't live a lie, running for my life. I will always want you. I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love.
We're all going to die one day. In 100 years, none of this will matter. The things we stress about today will be forgotten. Stop stressing about minor inconveniences and don't let small setbacks ruin your day. Your car breaks down, it's just a temporary problem. You're late for a meeting, life goes on. We often worry about things that won't matter in the long run. A bad day at work, an argument with a friend, a missed deadline. These are all fleeting moments. Life is far too short for unnecessary worries. Focus on what truly matters. Cherish your loved ones, follow Jesus, and live your life to the fullest. Don't get caught up in material possessions. Remember eternity. Take risks and embrace opportunities. Appreciate the simple joys in life. And remember, we're all just passing through on this earth. We have content that helps you become 1% better each day. If you're willing, just take a look. Have a good life, my friend. Hope to see you again.
Welcome, Patriots, and happy Friday night. I'm Jack, and welcome to Patriot News Broadcasting. It's good to see you guys. Are you ready for the weekend? It's finally here. A little bit cold again. So there's all kinds of awesome news today. Good news, as always. A lot of good news, really. And then after all that good news updates, we're going to watch a Patriot Roundtable with David Nino Rodriguez, Scott McKay, and Michael Jaco. And if we have time after that, we might watch some other things. I've got some good clips from Negative 48 we're going to check out. I've been using this equipment. I've very much worn it out over the past 11 months, and I'm finally getting some new equipment thanks to an angel out there. And I got to tell you guys, it's not very often in life that somebody lets you know in such a manner that they believe in what you're doing. And I don't know, that alone, I don't know, very meaningful. I can't tell you how much that means. So now that the NGOs are getting cut off, the faucets being turned off, all that money, Democrats got to find some creative new ways to get a hold of that cash, right? And it got me thinking. I noticed some interesting text messages on my phone yesterday and today. Here's one. Starting today, the Humane Society of the United States and Humane Society International are now called Humane World for Animals. You think if they change their name, it'll be a clever way to get around that stuff? I'm not saying they're involved in anything specifically. I'm just saying it's interesting when I look at these other texts. Here's an interesting one from Newsmax. Vote in the Newsmax poll. Do you approve of President Trump's job performance? Press 1 for yes and opt in to get free Newsmax alerts, or press 2 for no. So, obviously, if you don't want to take the poll and you don't want the alerts and you press no, you're saying no, you don't approve of Trump's job performance. It's tricky little polling out there that they do. And then this one from my hospital, Sarah Bush Lincoln wants to send you health education. I'm sure they do, because then they can turn around and say, oh, we need that money. We send all this out to educate people. I don't need your health education. So I don't know. I think they're going to start coming up with some clever ways to get around the right, because Trump and them, they're not going to stop what they're doing. And personally, I think they're a lot further ahead than we have any clue about. What you're seeing now, I think they've done a long, long time ago, and they're just sort of showing you. But we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about all kinds of things tonight, tribunals and stuff like that. So this from today, Trump expected to halt federal funding to schools with COVID vaccine mandates. He did go ahead and go through with that. We can check out the short clip.
Okay, that solves that problem.
So will the Department of Education have to handle that?
Yes, it'll go through the Department of Education. Okay?
I like how he handles that. That solves that problem. Yes, it does. No more federal funding to schools that mandate the COVID vaccine. I mean, it's really a big thing. I had to leave high school. I was leaving anyway and getting kicked out at the same time. But I was also told I would have to leave anyway if I didn't get the third hepatitis B series vaccine that they were giving out back then, and people were having reactions to, at least according to a 2020 episode with Barbara Walters and Hugh Downs. I'm Barbara Walters, and that's Hugh Downs. You guys remember 2020? I used to love 2020. I was a dork. Founder of a New York City nonprofit indicted for taking millions in kickbacks under city-funded COVID housing program. They just can't keep their greasy little hands from diving into the money stash, can they? What's even worse, though, is COVID itself was paid for by U.S. aid.
By law, all federal spending is required to be publicly available on usaspending.gov. We've known for a while that Dr. Fauci used NIH funding to finance bat coronavirus research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, but it took the watchdog White Coat Waste Project to expose evidence that USAID was funding it too. In fact, the bulk of the money came from USAID. Yet no grants to the Chinese lab appeared on usaspending.gov. It was hidden from the public through layers of unreported subgrants and subawards. Thankfully, my push to defund EcoHealth Alliance was successful, and the group is now barred from receiving U.S. government grants. But this is why my TRACS Act must become law to prevent money being sent to China, the Taliban, or any other foreign adversary. Every grant recipient must be disclosed to ensure accountability, and we shouldn't stop there. My bipartisan Stop Secret Spending Act, introduced with Ranking Member Peters, would add additional transparency to federal spending. So, Mr. Schellenberger, I'll start with you, please. Why is USAID so secretive about how it spends billions of taxpayer dollars? Is it to avoid the public outrage over the waste, or is there something more nefarious there?
Well, thank you, Senator. And first of all, thank you for your leadership in bringing transparency and accountability to aid and the funding there. Obviously, this example you just gave of the Wuhan Institute of Virology is incredible. I mean, the fact it appears that the U.S. government funded the creation of the virus that caused the global pandemic.
So, did you guys know you were funding that? Did you want to fund that? Did you want to fund Dr. Fauci's little nerdy butt in an office or in a lab, mixing up viruses to specifically affect humans? Were we paying for them to kill us? Oh, the irony there. What she's saying, though, is that it was paid for, but it wasn't on the books. And it's something Juan O'Sullivan talked about a few times, how they have books, and then another set of books. I suppose that's more stuff that'll come out via Elon Musk eventually. A plane carrying U.S. Secretary of State Rubio to Munich Security Conference had to turn back to Washington due to a malfunction. I am so not getting on a plane anytime soon now. This from the other day we somehow overlooked. 177 human trafficking victims rescued, 547 suspects arrested in California for various charges. I'm trying to picture how many cops it takes to arrest 547 people. Like, I can't picture this scene. I don't know. How do you arrest 500 people? There's got to be more to that story, and I can't wait to hear it, to be honest with you. This was kind of interesting. What if I told you multiple members of Congress are being treated for dementia at a top secret luxury clinic under Capitol Hill? Oh, and also it's funded by the taxpayers. Well, of course it is. Of course we pay for their health. Aging members of Congress refuse to disclose details of their top secret hospital. You mean the one we pay for? You're refusing to say what you're doing with our money? I don't like that at all. Now, people like us, the MAGA people, we kind of get what's going on and keeps us from flipping our shit. But what do you think the normies are going to do eventually when they really start getting this in their head, what's going on? And this is the first thing they learn. It makes me wonder if we're not going to face some violent times, and I don't know. Let me see if I can find the video here. I've got so many good videos today. I forgot about them all. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to curse in this one. So I'm sitting here watching the Joe Rogan interview with Mike Benz, and I'm literally shaking. I'm so pissed off. I'm so angry. And I'm left with so many more questions than I had to begin with. How long has this been going on for? How has it been going on since before my parents were born? Like, this is treason. The things that USAID has been doing is treason. How can you describe the things that USAID has been doing as anything less than treason? Like, the questions that I have now are, how much of it was real? How much of what we've been told by the mainstream news, who were being funded by USAID, how much of that was real? Did 9/11 get funded by USAID? I know that that sounds conspiratorial and weird, but like with everything that they're showing, it's really not. Like, did they fund the terrorists that took over the planes? Like, the more that I learn, the more angry that I get. I hate being fucking emotional on here. I'm sorry, I don't mean to swear. I'm trying not to. I wasn't born and raised in the United States of America. The idea of what I thought the United States of America was it's not real. It's not real. These people have perverted our country and our goodwill. They have extorted the American people in the name of humanitarian aid and essentially funded both sides of every conflict. This is overwhelming. I can't even grasp my thoughts. My mind is racing. It makes me think about all of the times that I have read and heard people say that the United States of America stopped being a country at a certain point and became a corporation. Like, is that true? Is my birth certificate and my social security card?
So that goes on for another 5 or 6 minutes, but man, you can't help but feel bad for her, and I don't know if she is what you'd call a normie, or, not everybody's into politics, but you can see how upsetting it is to people when it really starts to hit home. It's mind-blowing, and it's only going to get worse for her when she starts getting the answers to her questions. Did they fund 9/11? Yes, they did. Everything you thought you know about America, it gets twisted on its head, and it's very upsetting to people. All right, where were we? All right, let's talk about this real quick.
That's going to make your morning, or at least it's made mine, In case you're not aware, a Ninth Circuit Court judge, a very liberal judge, by the way, has just issued a ruling saying that all those blanket pardons that Joey Dum Dum issued on his way out the door of the Oval Office, they're all unconstitutional. In the ruling, he states that they failed to meet the criteria to qualify for pardoning, right? Things like being charged with a crime or being tried, convicted, sentenced. Yeah. All those things have to be met before a pardon can be issued. So, those pardons for Liz Cheney and Dr. Fauci and Adam Schiff or General Milley, they're all rendered null and void now. So grab your popcorn, because this is going to get really fucking good.
Oh, that's a bummer, huh? But, It's kind of logical, right? You can't pardon somebody that hasn't committed a crime. You can't give someone something. It's like I don't know, giving someone birthday candles without having a cake or some shit. Okay, that's not a great it's not a great analogy, but interesting. I wonder where they're gonna go with that. And so yep, that's that news. Let's keep moving on here. Prison, yeah, prison sounds good for him. The Pope Francis. I got an interesting video regarding him. He's been hospitalized in Rome with a diagnosis of bronchitis. There's this weird little video I'm going to put on. I haven't watched it yet, but they say it's like some kind of confession from the Pope. I have to scroll. What did I do with it? Sorry guys, I'm so unorganized, but this is supposed to be an interesting video. Of course, I can't ever find anything when I'm looking for it. Ah, here we go. You guys are so patient.
Stop what is coming. Dear brothers and sisters, excuse me because I speak in Italian, but I cannot speak in English. But I will speak no Italian, no English, but carefully. È una lingua più semplice e più autentica. E questa lingua del cuore ha un linguaggio e una grammatica speciale. La grammatica semplice, 2 regole. Ama Dio soprattutto e ama l'altro perché è tuo fratello e la tua sorella. E con queste 2 cose andiamo avanti. Io sono qui con mio fratello, il vescovo fratello Tom Parna. Siamo amici da anni. E lui mi ha detto del vostro convegno, del vostro raduno. E con piacere vi invio un saluto. Un saluto gioioso e nostalgico. Gioioso perché a me dà gioia che voi siete riuniti per lodare Gesù Cristo, l'unico Signore, per pregare al Padre e ricevere lo Spirito. E questo dà gioia perché si vede che il Signore lavora in tutto il mondo. È nostalgico perché, ma succede come nei quartieri.
Are they not so bold as to sit there and lecture people when we know damn well the kind of people they are? They're messed up in the head. Clearly this isn't some kind of confession or whatever, but it's kind of interesting what he's talking about. We're going to have some peace and then sudden destruction. I don't like the sound of that. I put a lot of hope and faith into all of this stuff, just like the rest of you. And I do believe very good things are going to happen. But a lot of times in life, you can't help but wonder, what's the catch? Let's finish this.
Fra noi, no? Nei quartieri ci sono famiglie che si vogliono e famiglie che non si vogliono, famiglie che si uniscono e famiglie che si separano. E noi siamo un po', mi permetto la parola, separati. Separati perché i peccati ci hanno separati, i nostri peccati. I malintesi nella storia, ma una lunga strada di peccato comunitario. Ma chi ha la colpa? Tutti abbiamo la colpa, tutti siamo peccatori, soltanto uno è il giusto, il Signore. Io ho la nostalgia che questa separazione finisca e ci dia la comunione. Io ho nostalgia di quell'abbraccio di nel quale parla la Sacra Scrittura, quando i fratelli di Giuseppe, affamati, sono andati a Egitto per comprare, per poter mangiare. Ma andavano a comprare, avevano i soldi, ma non potevano mangiare i soldi. E lì hanno trovato qualcosa più del pasto, hanno trovato il fratello. Tutti noi abbiamo dei soldi, i soldi della cultura, i soldi della nostra storia, di tante ricchezze culturali, anche religiose, tradizioni diverse. Ma dobbiamo trovarci come fratelli e dobbiamo piangere insieme, come ha fatto Giuseppe, quel pianto che unisce, il pianto dell'amore. Io vi parlo come fratello, e vi parlo così semplicemente, con gioia e nostalgia. Facciamo crescere la nostalgia, perché questo ci spingerà a trovarci, a abbracciarci e a lodare Gesù Cristo come unico Signore della storia. Vi ringrazio tanto per sentirmi, vi ringrazio tanto per lasciarmi parlare la lingua del cuore. E vi chiedo anche un favore, di pregare per me, perché ho bisogno delle vostre preghiere. Io prego per voi, lo farò, ma io ho bisogno delle vostre preghiere e pregare al Signore perché ci unisca tutti. E avanti, siamo fratelli, ci diamo spiritualmente questo abbraccio e lasciamo che il Signore finisca l'opera che Lui ha incominciato. Perché questo è un miracolo, il miracolo dell'unità è incominciato. E dice uno scrittore italiano, il Manzoni, famoso, dice questa frase in un romanzo, un uomo semplice del popolo dice questa frase: non ho trovato mai che il Signore abbia incominciato un miracolo senza finirlo bene. Lui finirà bene questo miracolo dell'unità. Vi chiedo di benedirmi e io vi benedico, di fratello a fratello. Un abbraccio. Grazie.
All right, so moving on from the Pope, I mean, they're so two-faced. It's unbelievable that they can sit there straight-faced like that and lecture people. Let's get on with some news, though. I don't know where to put it. Somewhere they're going after AOC because she's been trying to tell illegals how they can hide and cheat the system and stuff. They're talking about filing charges against her for it, and I sure as hell hope they do. What she's doing is illegal. These people are supposed to take oaths to the public, to the people. They do not give a shit about you or me. So we talked yesterday about Trump and Putin are planning on meeting each other. So they said they're going to have their sum of all fears moment, if you remember the end of the movie. They're planning summits in the U.S.-Russia neutral sites. Eventually, these leaders will be on stage signing treaties and shaking hands. The war will be over, and World War III will be canceled. World War IV, if you go by what Juan says. I need to get into some of these videos I got.
Honorable Senators, just to fact correct, please, a few things. Mr. Duffy didn't come from a state job. Mr. Duffy came from Deputy Chief of Staff at DOD before he went to OMB. Big difference there. Manager Garcia said he failed to appear. Well, the House committee would not allow agency counsel to appear with Mr. Duffy or Mr. Blair. They would not let agency counsel appear with either of them. Office of Legal Counsel determined, of course, that the exclusion of agency counsel from House proceedings is unconstitutional. It's a pretty basic right. So what did they do? They took no action on the subpoenas. But now they want you to take action on them. The managers have been telling you all day, the House managers all day, White House is trying to hide from American people what witnesses had to say. They've been saying we want to bury evidence, we want to hide evidence. That hypocrisy is astounding. They've been saying let's not forget why we are here. Well, we're here tonight because they threw due process, fundamental fairness, and our Constitution out the window in the House proceedings. That's why we're here, because they started in the secret bunker hearings where the president and his counsel weren't even allowed to participate when they're trying to impeach him. Intel and Judiciary committees was a one-sided circus. Ranking Member Nunes asked to call witnesses. He explained why in detail. It was denied by Manager Schiff. Ranking Member Collins asked to call witnesses. Denied by Manager Nadler.
I think we're going to see great things from Pam Bondi. Tell me what you guys think of this post from Elon Musk today. I've had a top secret clearance for many years, and I have clearances that themselves are classified. And then somebody added the Q post underneath there. Are we alone? No. Highest classification. Consider the vastness of space. What do you guys think of that? Here we think Elon Musk sort of pops up out of nowhere, has no connection to the federal government, and then he throws this at you. I've had secret clearances all along for years, and clearances that they themselves are classified. I mean, on the one hand, it makes sense with the SpaceX program, but they're just firing rockets into space, aren't they? You really need security clearance for that? Okay, moving on. Wanted to see what you guys thought of that. I think it's incredibly interesting. Find out a little bit of stuff every day. Let's see. So much to jump through here, guys. I am sorry. Federal judge just blocked President Trump from canceling foreign aid contracts and grants that were in place before his inauguration. Ha! That's all of them. The Supreme Court needs to step in and order these judges to immediately halt their efforts to derail the duly elected president of the United States. Now, how ridiculous is it to rule that the current president can't reverse the mistakes of the previous president? I don't think they can rule that way. It's a federal judge, but I think the Supreme Court would undo it. Either way, I don't think Trump will abide by it at all, and I wouldn't. Who the hell do they think they are? You can't look at the aid that was there before you were president. Bullshit. Either way, Trump's not the one looking at it now, is he? Elon's looking at it, so, man. Let's see. Well, I was hearing that Doge is now at the IRS. That means Musk's henchmen are in a position to dig through a trove of data about every taxpayer in America. And if your refund is delayed, that could very well be the reason. Okay. How stupid is this guy? Oh, look, they're digging in there. Did we not just find out the other day that the IRS has had access to all of your bank accounts? That they can do audits on you without even telling you that they're looking through your bank accounts? And so this guy's so worried that he's digging through data about every taxpayer in America. You think that's what Elon Musk is doing with his time? Saying, oh, let's look at that Jack guy's taxes. Oh, my God. They're looking for fraud. And the more these people scream about it and piss and moan, the guiltier they look. So go ahead. Go ahead and bitch about it. Okay. Sorry, guys. I am so unorganized. Let's see what Anna Paulina Luna had to say today.
The Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets has been organized under the House Oversight Committee and represents a historic step towards transparency and delivering answers to the American people. President Trump has already taken steps to deliver to the American people information that for far too long has been kept under the federal government's lock and key through classification. Under Executive Order 14176, President Trump has directed the federal government to prepare reports regarding the declassification of records regarding the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. The task force will also examine agencies' knowledge and possession of documents regarding other areas of significant public interest, including UAPs, the origins of COVID-19, the Epstein client list, and details surrounding the death of Osama bin Laden in Operation Neptune Spear. Our first hearing is March and will focus on the assassination of President Kennedy. We have already engaged with relevant agencies to provide briefings this month regarding the universe of documents connected to these areas of interest. Upon receiving these briefings, we'll move immediately to review documents and, if necessary, earmark them for release to the American people. The task force will travel as necessary to conduct research and meet with relevant witnesses and experts who may also be called to speak in a public setting. We will work closely with the committee to provide transparency through hearings, reports, and the release of documents. It's important to note that we don't have documents yet, and we also don't hold declassification authority. The task force seeks to operate with coordination with the administration to ensure that the American people receive the documents needed to answer questions that we have been all asking for far too long. We will regain the trust of the American people through transparency.
Boy, I sure hope so. You know, it's something we've talked about a lot. And let me see if I can find this Q post that ties into it. Here it is. Transparency is the only way forward. Transparency is the only way to prove to the public that everything sold to you as truth was nothing but fake narrative designed to keep you, the people powerless and keep them in control. Fake news propaganda. Sole responsibility is to prevent the truth from ever being disseminated to the masses. Mass infiltration everywhere. Transparency is the only way forward. Public opinion, prosecution is the only way forward. Prosecution and transparency, the only way to save our way of life. So, yes, I very much agree with that. But then I think back to that other Q post that says the public will only learn maybe 20% of the truth, and the other 60% will be buried, or 80%, or I can't remember the numbers on that. And I get it again. Maybe we don't have to know everything, or do we? Maybe we just want to know. It leaves us in a position where we still have to rely on them. What Anna was saying right there, we can organize these documents. We don't have declassification powers. Trump could do that, but why do it that way? Just put the documents out there. If you want full transparency, why do you have to sift through them first and look at them before you release them to us? That's what the other guys did. And then they just buried stuff. If you want transparency, just be transparent. We don't need Congress and hearings. Do you see why we are sick of Congress? We're done with Congress. There is no Congress. To hell with Congress. It's time to do things our way, the American way. And I don't know how long they're planning on all this happening, but is Trump going to have our backs, or the normies' backs, when they do flip their shit? Because it's coming, guys. The more truth that comes out there, it's coming. I mean, people are going to flip. Check out this little clip.
What's going on, everybody? So, those of you that know me know that for the last 3.5 years, I have put up with so much shit, releasing all the information about the tribunals. And, the numbers that I've seen and heard are about 500,000 people that were put down. I've put my pictures up of the gallows in the front of the White House lawn. Now, you guys see the White House has been used since Biden has been in there. Hell, it was just on Zillow. For jokes or whatever, it doesn't matter. The White House, I told you, has never been used. And now they are finishing up tribunals, all the military ships in the Mediterranean right now. I think we're getting the grand finale right now, guys. Take a look.
And the Mediterranean, where the tribunals are going on right now. We are waiting for people to get their due. Sometimes you have to see how horrible they really are before they get cut off at the knees. And that's what happened to McCarthy. So I take that example. It might not be a tribunal. It might not be all of our Navy ships off the coast of Japan and Australia and here in the UK and the Mediterranean, where the tribunals are going on right now. But we will see signs like that. And it is those actualities that you can take for hope and belief we're getting.
Hope or belief, yes. Transparency? Not so much. Not so much. In doses. It kind of makes you feel like you're at a hospital getting dosed daily with a bit of truth. A little bit here, a little bit there. I get it. I do get it. And I don't know what the right pace to go is with this stuff. Do you just dump it all out there and hope for the best? Like, I don't know. A couple more quick videos to watch, and then we're going to move on to our Patriot Roundtable.
Elon Musk is a threat to our democracy. Allowing him to uncover fraud in the misappropriation of taxpayer dollars is somehow a constitutional crisis. Let me remind you all what you'll be losing if Elon Musk is not stopped. Americans will not benefit from the $2 million spent on a pancake eating contest in Mongolia. They will not benefit from the $4 million to fund a tampon throwing contest in Dubai. They will not benefit from the $8 million to produce Pimp My Ride in Zimbabwe. Hello? We got it. Got what? Evidence that USAID is actually really beneficial to the American people. Okay, I'll be right there. It came in 10 minutes ago. I'm sure this will make Americans really supportive of USAID. Elmo wants to jihad. Elmo wants women to not show their ankles. Elmo wants to teach your son how to throw a stone really hard. This is exactly what the American people will lose if we don't stop Elon Musk. I agree. Look at this. On the left is one of Musk's cronies. He goes by the alias Big Balls. I suspect it's a nickname he gave himself so people think he's packing, but by the looks of it, I'd say his balls aren't really that big. He recently recommended cutting $16 million funding an Afghanistan version of Karate Kid, which makes him the biggest threat to our democracy to date. My God, it's a constitutional crisis. We're sending a man inside Doge to gather information. This is our spy, David Hogg, codenamed Teeny Tiny Teensy Weensy Balls. Are you sure this will work? It's a 50-50 shot. My only concern is that he's too masculine to
Alright, I've heard enough of that. Good God. More good news. Trump pulled the press access today for the Associated Press.
I'm going to leave now. Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye. 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 I'm out of here. Bye. Bye-bye. Okay? Bye-bye. 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 Bye. Bye.
Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Go have a good day. Bye. Bye. Bing. Bing. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye to Iowa. Bye-bye. And to other places.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Associated Press. Oh, guys, I cannot tell you how long I've been waiting for this day. If it wasn't exciting enough yesterday watching Robert F. Kennedy Jr. get sworn in as HHS Secretary, oh man, Trump takes the access away from the Associated Press today, and they are everything. They control all your news. Not anymore. All right. That's exciting. Moving forward.
Gen X, these people just don't know what they've done. You've woken up Gen X. I mean, you just don't understand what you've done. Gen X, their first lesson in science was to take a magnifying glass and angle it just so the sun comes through it and torch live bugs. Burn them to death. These people literally spent their childhood beating the shit out of each other just to be best friends for life after. I mean, pain doesn't exist for these people. They would play tackle football in the middle of the street on the concrete and then yell car when a car was coming. I mean, while kids today are eating sour candy as a challenge, Gen X literally impressed girls by putting cigarettes out on their tongue. They would literally take a lighter and heat up the metal on the top of a lighter and then turn it upside down and burn their skin just because they wanted a smiley face tattoo. I mean, you're talking about a whole generation of people that rode around in cigarette smoke-filled cars with no seatbelts, let alone airbags. These people grew up being borderline tortured. When they got in trouble, their parents would send them outside to pick a switch, a long, skinny stick that was flexible enough to cut through the air and cut flesh. If they did not pick a suitable switch, they were made to go get another one, and it just got worse. And then, if they ever hurt themselves and fell off their bike and scraped their knee or whatever, they would wear these wounds like badges of honor. And even though we hurt ourselves, we would then go inside to see our parents, and they would pour peroxide on that shit. It would bubble and sizzle and turn all red. We wore that shit like badges of honor. Gen X was wild. We would have 4th of July. We would shoot Roman candles at each other. bottle rockets and shit. While y'all are standing 30 and 40 feet back from whoever's setting the fireworks off, we were in the middle of that shit, usually turning it upside down and shooting it at our friends. I mean, Gen X has cheated death our entire lives. All we wanted to do was sleep and rest. And you goofy bastards have made it absurd enough to live on this rock that we are coming out of retirement just to burn this bitch down to spite you, and then hopefully we can go back to sleep. If not, we'll stay awake and we'll just keep the fire going, because Gen X don't quit. Y'all gonna learn one of these days.
I thought that was funny. I'm pretty much part of Gen X. Oh, I know they do the birthday thing and say if you're not, you're this or that. That's the time period I grew up in. Exactly the time period I grew up in. It was fun. Sour gummy worm challenges. Is that what he said? All right, let's move
At
forward.
that point, I was driven by Jonathan Luna to the Bethesda Marriott on Pooks Hill, where Jeffrey Epstein and Andrew Windsor drugged and raped me. I have tried to get help. I called the police. I was abducted for 2 weeks. I was moved from Washington, D.C. by Ed Norris, who was the superintendent of the Maryland State Police. He is now an actor on the show The Wire and has a radio show. My name is Jessica Collins. I live in Virginia. Today is September the 3rd, 2019. If anything happens to me, it's because this information is true, and I have a lot more information about who I was trafficked to in the government, people who are in the White House today. If you could redistribute this video, please save it and redistribute it. If anything happens to me, at least I have this out. I have been threatened. My car was disabled by a government employee when the Jeffrey Epstein news broke. I have been without a vehicle for 40 days. I don't know what else to say. Please save this video. Please redistribute it. Please try and spread it. There is no way that this is going to get out there in the media unless we, the American people, do the work. The government is involved.
So obviously it's gotten out to the media now. This picture here, that's Ed Norris. He was a police officer, now an actor. And apparently the one that moved her around from place to place so she could be used and trafficked. Pretty messed up, huh? One more thing for the round table, an image I wanted to show you guys and ask you what you think of it. See if you remember back to this image. Remember when Buzz Aldrin went down to Antarctica and then he posted this? We are all in danger. It is evil itself. What do you guys think? Was this a real post? He was obviously in Antarctica at the exact time. Right after this post came up and then disappeared, he was flown out of there by air rescue helicopters. Was he trying to tell us something? What was he trying to tell us? I know, it's kind of random, but it popped up today, and I wanted to share that. And I'll share one more quick thing, and we'll put on our round table.
Elvis Aaron Presley.
No wonder Trump pronounced Elvis's name. There is a horrifying truth behind this. Recently, when Trump was sorting out documents, he accidentally found a document about Elvis's hidden room on the second floor. As an Elvis fan, he decided to go to Graceland in person to find the truth. When he arrived at Graceland, there was no tourist visiting now. Only a group of staff wearing sunglasses stood at the door, waiting as if they knew what was going to happen. Trump went directly to the second floor, where only Elvis's closest people could reach. On the way up the stairs, footsteps were heard on the second floor. When Trump reached the second floor, it was surprisingly quiet. He checked the rooms one by one and found that each room was spotless, as if waiting for the arrival of a VIP. Strangely, there was a hamburger on the table in the living room. The hamburger was still steaming hot, as if someone was preparing to enjoy it here. Just as Trump was puzzled, a staff member suddenly appeared and quietly took the burger away. Then the staff member disappeared in the back garden. Graceland appears to be inhabited. Who do you think this mysterious person could be?
Who could it be, guys? Are you getting sharp yet? Let's see how sharp you are real quick before I put on our main show. Let's see if you can tell me how I know this guy is lying.
What happened is, like Q said, they can't believe she didn't win because she did. She won, and like I had seen all my life, from very, pretty much the day I'm born, I've had dreams of World War III, of the Earth being completely wiped out by nuclear bombs, them going in their dumps. It's something I've known all my life. And so when that happened, I knew it. 4 years ahead, I could see the military adjacent troops, which are the UN troops in U.S. military, but using, all foreign troops, like all Vietnamese brigades in Colorado, locking down the borders. So I go, yep, time's up, time to leave. And they blew it up. Hillary won, they blew up the Earth. But because they never made a movie of it, or a cartoon or anything. That's how the cabal, the court of God is that if you're going to do something that affects an entire planet or entire species or all the life on the planet, you have to go to the court of God. And it's just like you have a court case. Both sides of the case have to show up, and one case presents their side, one case presents, and the judge makes a decision. Well, the human race hasn't known about this. So the cabal, the Illuminati, the Nephilim hybrids have been going to the court by saying subtly, with all kinds of symbols or movies, we're going to do this. And they did like the series Jericho, which is limited nuclear war. But they never showed a war of the entire surface of the earth being wiped clean of all life, including like microbes and viruses and everything. So God said, not allowed. And he reset the timeline to 2008. And so at that time, then a lot of groups came to help the humans. And the alliance was formed using time travel to go back to 1903 with the Trump brothers and Van de Graaff and Tesla and Howard Hughes to start creating the alliance with several high-level generals. And it started out as a 3-inch binder called The Plan. And so then they selected the Trump brothers to have a son that would then take out the cabal. And so that's what Trump, knew from the day he was born. That was his job, and knew all about the reset and everything. And so it's kind of confusing when timeline changes happen. They were using Montauk technology to travel back and do that and create false timelines that aren't.
Why do I think that he's lying aside from the, the story being so fantastical? He says that Trump knew about this plan all along, knew what he was born for all along. What do you guys think about that? That's why I don't think anything he's saying is accurate, because from what I gather, Trump was just like one of them, a bad guy, and eventually was asked to do this. I don't know. You guys, there's so much that they just aren't telling us and aren't going to tell us for a long time. And I know I could sit here and rack my brain about it until I want to cry, but I won't get the answer. And we won't for a long time, probably, if ever, some of these. So, transparency. I'm all about them being honest and stuff, but I don't see it as transparent. All right, I'm going to bring up OpenAI board rejects Elon Musk-led $97 billion purchase offer. Uh-oh. All right, I'm going to bring up our show. Yeah, I guess Elon Musk was trying to buy out OpenAI, and $97 billion? Good God. He is filthy rich, isn't he, guys? That's something else right there. He really wants to have control of AI, though. He doesn't trust Sam Altman. Sam Altman doesn't trust him. Interesting. All right, let me bring up our round table, folks. And then I'll join you in the chat. See what these fellas have to say today. Glad you're here with me, guys, on this Friday.
For the rest of my days, I'm always going to wonder what would have happened if I didn't have Berna by my side.
When things go sideways, will you be prepared? Are you still interested in a solar-powered generator?
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. The world is waking up, and this is the tipping point.
Ladies and gentlemen, no introduction needed. Mike Jaco, Navy SEAL for decades, Nino Rodriguez, world heavyweight boxing champion, and me get to hang out with these guys. Guys, I'm not going to say anything right now. There's so much shit happening. Where do you guys want to jump in? You want to talk for a second about the Black Hawk Down series, because it leads into where we are today and the bullshit we're now seeing. So Nino brought it up earlier. Folks asked if we had seen this, the docu series on Black Hawk Down, which I started watching last night. These guys saw all of it, but it turned into a great narrative. Nino.
One of the best documentaries I've ever seen by far. I mean, it just shows you, no matter how much you train, man, it's like when you're under fire like that and adrenaline's pumping and you're disoriented and you're confused, it doesn't matter. It's just, man, you're just running on instincts and pure adrenaline. I mean, it's crazy to watch that. And they were just being shot at every direction. I highly recommend anybody to check that out on Netflix. I mean, I don't really watch Netflix that often, but when I saw that, I was like, I'm going to give this a shot and check it out. And I was not disappointed, man. Great It's a limited series. I think it's only like 3 episodes or something like that, but definitely worth the time to see it. I usually pass out when I'm watching something within 40 minutes, 30, 40 minutes, I'm out, I'm snoring. This, I was actually like on pins and needles watching the whole time. Insanity. I remember that happening back in the day. It was in the 90s, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Mike, why don't you do this? Because there are some people that don't know about Black Hawk Down. Give a perspective of this operation. What led us
Well,
to
yeah, they went into
this thing?
Somalia. What was it? A rescue mission at first, or was it a?
Well,
It turned out to be
there was like, back in the day, Michael Jackson, all the singers were like, we are the world, and singing the songs.
It was human aid. It was human aid.
It was aid that was everybody was donating because the African children were starving, and Somalia was one of the worst places. I'd been to Somalia like years before with a SEAL platoon where we landed on the beach and the Marines came in, all that kind of stuff. It was a nothing place, a bunch desert, So now we come in, we're trying to help them out, and I guess there's warring factions. They're in civil war. And Adid, Amin, or I forget exactly what it is. Yeah,
Mohammed Fair Aidid. Yep.
That's it. Yep. And so the United States, for whatever reason, decided he's the problem, and they started going after him. They tried to get him. They blew up his compound, and that killed a lot of Somalis, and they got pissed at America for that.
So here's what I think happened here. That was a chess move. We brought in our troops under the guise of aid. So we say, okay, we're going to bring in aid, and then the whole objective was to take this guy out. Obviously, then obviously the troops aren't in on this. They don't know what's going on, but the politicians and everyone in the background is probably doing this. So that we come in as aid at first, and then it turns in, okay, now we're going to take out their one of their leaders for the Civil War, and then it turns into a complete shit show, right? And then, but I mean, I know they could have never predicted that would happen, but I think the whole objective was to take that guy out, but we went in there under the guise of of aid first, and then do you get what I'm saying here? That's how I see it. You guys,
well,
that's the way, unfortunately, the deep state works, guys. We've been pointing this out. They use some event where they can come in and basically take over, and the Somalis, they recognize that, and they
went there to help the people first, get all our troops there, and then we go to take the guy out and just send the country into disarray. But I mean, whatever. I mean, it was still a great documentary.
I'll say this, for the folks who don't know what we're talking about, if you see the movie Black Hawk Down, I highly recommend. It was done Michael Bay or somebody who's a powerful producer, great story. Watch Black Hawk Down, because the story begins in this operation, humanitarian, supporting UN. There's a famine from a civil war. So the U.S. goes in there. Everybody's running around with little red U.S. flags because they're bringing food in and they're saving them. But then, and not surprising that happened, because I was obviously dialed in politically back then. You had Clinton, who is a fucking buffoon, as we know, completely incapable. You had Les Aspin as defense secretary. When this thing breaks out, U.S. going after a warlord. And so they bring in some Black Hawks, some gunships. They're shooting shit up where they think this warlord Adidas, and it goes south. They kill a bunch of elders. All of a sudden, the Somalis are watching in mass their own people being slaughtered. What Americans are here to help. So that turns the tide at some point shortly thereafter. Here comes another operation to hit his lieutenants. And one of the Black Hawks gets shot down because the Somalis were ready by the thousands, RPGs and AK-47.
I think there was two helicopters that went down, right? Or three?
Yeah, two. But you have to see it, because that's the start. This Black Hawk goes down, and now they're trying to save these the guys on board. It's like, I don't know, 75 to like 3,000. It's like it's ridiculous. But watch the movie. And then the documentary is critical, but it kind of points the finger at why I've come to hate these mofos so bad, because I've watched good men, highly trained and capable, sent into these impossible situations because you have political shitbags who would never pick up a weapon, man a post in a forward area anywhere in fucking earth, but they send our boys in. And I remember when Les Aspin was the defense secretary, there was a request for AC-130 gunship support and they wouldn't give them any. And then when you needed it, our guys
That
get
was
it.
the problem.
Yep,
That was
you
the
bring
problem.
one of those suckers through.
I've been with AC-130 gunships, and
You
that
don't
was
be near
pretty
that. You
tight.
don't be anywhere near the half a mile one of those suckers when they come in
No,
to
no.
decimate everything. And that's why our boys died. But that's the premise, folks. But we start talking about this documentary. I said, let's jump off on that.
Yeah. So I think the intelligence community, I bet the CIA was involved, basically hung these guys out there to get slaughtered. Because those young guys basically go in. If you've never been in combat, it's a whole new experience. It's an even playing field. You can get wrapped up just like anybody else. And those guys were all gung ho. They went in thinking that America we're the greatest. I had a couple buddies that were there that debriefed us in the SEAL teams afterwards. The SEAL Team 6 guys. They were snipers, so they went in. We had Delta snipers fast roped in to help one of the pilots that was taking.
I'm not sure if this might interest you, but people ask me, how did you lose so much weight? And here's what I tell them. This is how I peed out fat in just weeks. This special coffee loophole took me from 184 to 123 in no time. I'll never forget the look on my ex-husband's face when I walked into our daughter's wedding all slim and 3 dress sizes lighter than last time. I mean, he hadn't seen me for ages since we divorced. Back then, I gained a lot of weight. So my husband declared he wasn't attracted to me anymore and left me for another woman. But his jaw dropped when
Taken down. They kind of went in to rescue him, but everybody, they knew when they went in, they were told, do you know what you're doing? Because it was a one-way mission. And they're like, yes. And they went in. They got the Medal of Honor posthumously.
Yep.
So they basically went in knowing they're not coming back. And then we had SEAL Team 6 guys driving vehicles along with Rangers to go rescue. And one of my buddies said they were taking body armor and putting it around themselves. And the rounds were hitting the body armor that's around them. One of my buddies said that he had a knife on and a bullet hit his knife and it saved his leg. So it was insane. And another of my buddies that wasn't driving, he was in the passenger seat. He said that everybody was out there shooting at them. They had women and children and guys behind them shooting behind the women and children. And he said, all you could do is just shoot everything that moved.
So they're using the women as shields.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is, and he told us they had to stop one time to regroup. And it's like, what are you guys doing? Because whoever's directing them was all screwed up, making them turn. They were there were roadblocks everywhere. So we're trying to get them to help these guys. And he said they're at one intersection and an old woman came out and she's looking at them. They're like, what's she doing? And then she walked back and then an RPG came down and hit near them.
Damn.
And they're like, what? And then this old woman comes out again. She's all hunched over. She looks again. She walks back and they almost got hit with the RPG. That woman came out again. They shot her. That's how ugly it was. It was like everybody was against them. I mean, you feel for the Somalis when you see that video, but they unfortunately brought it upon themselves, but so did the Americans. So war doesn't pay for anybody. Right. That's why we don't do it. And that's why Trump is doing a great job of keeping us from going to World War III. But, these guys are still going to keep pushing. And I think it's coming for our streets. And this is one of the reasons why, we're bringing up this thing about Somalia, because that could be happening in American streets soon.
You see that, Mike? You think you see what you're seeing now? You think that they're going to make this move? We've been told Juan told us be prepared because it's coming, right? And we're waiting. It hasn't happened. I'm thinking, is it going to happen to try to stop Trump? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think it's coming. I mean, look at all the guys that come over the cartel. We know there's all kinds of arms. We already know that in Mexico, the cartels are getting arms from Ukraine. Yeah. It's already been reported. Yep. So I'm telling you, Ukrainian battle-tested Ukrainians are in America now. There's no question about it. They went to Canada when the Canadians went for the convoy. They came in and they put on uniforms of Canadian police, and they came in and beat Canadians. And we know that there were Ukrainians that were involved and J6. So I promise you, they're in our cities right now, ready to light off.
Damn.
I think
Well,
the whole objective is to destabilize and throw mud all over Trump's face, and I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, they're already fanning the racial tension. Like you can see it happening already. The racial tension, blacks and whites. I think the cartel stuff. There was just another guy that was related to the faction of El Mayo and the Sinaloa cartel that just got killed just yesterday. I mean, there's already destabilization happening, and I think that is going to come over to America. It has no choice. I see Claudia Sheinbaum playing ball with Trump, but dude, I mean, how long do you think that's going to last for? I mean, the cartels control her. I mean, ultimately, China and the cartels control her, and they're telling her what to do or what not to do. So whatever she relays to Trump and says, "Okay, we'll work with you," whatever, it's because they're telling her to do whatever she's doing. And I think that if she didn't, she'll be dead. I mean, she's dead. She pays total homage to them, to the cartels. That's it. So me, it's only a matter of time. I don't know this whole month to here in El Paso, dude. They're already uncovering. I don't know how many tunnels have they gotten. I think they've already gotten 20 tunnels, and there has to be over 100 something because they're just revealing them every day, exposing another tunnel. There are so many, and they lead into the sewer systems, dude. I mean, it's like imagine like an ant colony. Like they're all under us, bro. They come up everywhere. You could be driving in El Paso and see a manhole, some guy pop out of a manhole. Not even kidding. Like it's like that here. So I don't know. I'm just gonna say this. I'm very surprised where we're at right now with the limited chaos. I thought it was going to pop off way before, and I'll admit it. I thought October. I thought October before the election things were going to start going, but I was wrong. So,
well, one of the things I think you're right about them, Mike, gonna pop off here sooner or later. USAID is absolutely devastating, and what they did find. Hundreds of billions of dollars of weapons going to Ukraine, the Ukrainians selling them on the black market, making money, our tax money, they're selling these weapons. And some of that shit's coming back to these political scumbags. That's obviously why they sign these bills. And now they're making their way to the cartel. So once again, just like Fast and Furious operation where this Eric Holder at the DOJ under Obama sold weapons, quote unquote, to the cartel to try to track them and get cartel, which was completely illegal and acts of treason. And we get our border guys killed. And we only discover it because one of our border guys get killed. So if all true, they're going to be using light and medium grade weapons in the United States on United States people on U.S. soil. So,
but we've cut off their funding. So if USAID is like exposed to money laundering, we're stopping all this useless spending from the federal agencies. The southern border has been stopped to a drip. I don't know how they're going to pay their henchmen. I mean, so it's going to be what they've already accumulated, which is military grade weaponry and stuff like that, and the people that are already here because they're not able to get all their assets over here anymore. I'm going to tell you that right now. Like it's hard. So whatever they have here now that's not being taken down, they're going to use. But the question to me is when. But like I said, their funding has been, I mean, according to Juanito, he says at least 45% of their funding stopped. But you got to think that's how they pay their henchmen. The cartels, everything is through the tax dollars, the funding. The deep state money is come to like a drip. It's a drip now. So
yeah, I tell you what, you got to imagine these guys right now, these cartel guys, they're even pissed off at where USAID money went here. They're like, you shitting me? Somalia Obama got $2.4 million from USAID. That should have been us. And Chelsea Clinton that just came out, USAID, she got $83 million from USAID and $10 million to pay her wedding. These cartel guys would probably shoot her first. You took fucking $93 million.
$10 million to pay her
money.
wedding?
They paid $10 million you and I, all of us, paid $10 million for that bitch's wedding, and she
They
got
probably had to pay to
83
her
million
husband to
herself.
marry her.
What's that? Oh, that's, you know
They
what?
probably had to pay
Now
her
that you
husband to
say
marry her.
that, that's an understandable expense, actually.
They probably had to pay $9,500,000 to her husband just to marry her.
I'm sure. That's Webster Hubbell's daughter, by the way. It's not Bill Clinton's. It's Webb Hubbell's
Yeah,
daughter.
true.
Yeah.
You're right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll probably see. I think in the spring offensive. Now, Cliff High, he does his bot stuff. He sees because us humans, we have the intuitive ability to see into the future. We may not know it, but through his bot thing, he basically can find what people are seeing in the future. So he's saying there's going to be, some attacks and stuff like that. So he's seeing it. Remote viewers like myself.
You're not a child, you're a man. So stop wearing so many layers to go outside and get the Bearskin Tactical Hoodie 4.0, the 10-pocket tactical micro fleece hoodie that blocks wind, repels rain, and regulates heat for incredible comfort wherever you are. Because the average hoodie made these days is weak, flimsy, and has one weird kangaroo pocket in the front. And listen, you're not a kangaroo, you're a man. Thousands of men around the world already love wearing the bearskin hoodie instead of their regular hoodies. Why? Because sure, your average hoodie provides decent insulation.
Myself and other people are also seeing attacks coming. I've been calling this for almost 5 years now. I didn't see a civil war, but I saw American cities, erupting in violence, and this is going to be it. Now we're seeing what I was seeing, years ago. What was that? It's like it's not a civil war. What could it be? So it's going to be the cartels and the deep state basically coming after American cities and causing. There was a city when I was working in Pakistan, Mumbai. It was right over the border from where I was working in Lahore, and it was attacked by like 10 guys, just 10, and they broke up into 2-man groups, and they had explosive vests on. They had explosives, grenades, and guns and lots of ammo. They just walked around that city for 4 days, shooting everybody up, blowing stuff up before they were finally taken down. They killed hundreds of people, and that's just 10 guys. There's millions have come across the border that are military-age men that could have been, inducted into, training camps and so forth. The FBI, if we can even trust them, I don't think so. I think they need to be disbanded. Kash Patel police. So I think they're basically going to come in.
Get in yet?
No, maybe next week is what they're saying now.
So they're delaying it even further. But
I thought it might be today.
They had more of the hearings today, right?
Yeah, but I heard maybe next week. If they do it today, I said they should be doing it today. They should have done it like 2 weeks ago, but whatever.
Well, here's what they're doing. They're cleaning up. They're hiding all the evidence.
Of course they are.
Yeah, good point.
You know what? They're not smart enough, though. Those dudes, those 18-year-old nerds, the ones that wrote the algorithms, there's a great video. I'm going to get it to both you guys. It's like 13 minutes long, and it explains this operation, which was years into planning. So what's cool about that is, as you watch this, getting people in position through appointments and Senate confirmations, all that bullshit. You have important positions that never get staffed in a 4-year period in a presidency because of the bullshit people are now starting to wake up to in DC, which has drove me nuts for decades. And here's the thing. This planning operation for Doge to go in here and start doing what they're doing now, years in the making. They identified about 1,000 positions throughout the government where people don't need Senate confirmation, and they get in these places where they can pull levers. They have the authority to do different things. The day that Trump took power, they're all basically outside the door with their freaking files. Boom, here they are sitting in position. And
what they're saying doesn't necessarily matter because we have it all anyway. They can destroy all they want. They already have the evidence. Elon Musk was talking a little bit about Iron Mountain and how, because of how old the system is, only so many people can actually retire in 1 month's time. And it's literally a paper system in a mountainside. And yet he knows everything that's on the file. So clearly it just doesn't matter. They know, they have it. You know. And I did want to point out, we were talking in the chat about the FOID card. In Illinois, we have to have what's called a FOID card, F-O-I-D. It's firearm owner identification. And it's a photo ID you have to get to buy guns here in Illinois. It's very unconstitutional, in my opinion. And they're finally going up against it. There's something, a court case going on right now, I believe, where they're trying to declare it unconstitutional, which it is, very much so. So finally some good news here in Illinois. If we could just get rid of Pritzker and Durbin, it'll be a good start. Anyway, let's get back to the show.
And they started immediately going, and this software that these guys built has an archaeological capability. This thing's going through decades and layers and decades that could never possibly be unearthed. Whatever they got, man, it is pulling shit up, excavating stuff, and showing every single tether that these things are tied to. And then the next point, every freaking tethering, where the money's going, why and who, they've got these guys buried. So just the fact, and that, when I get it to you guys, you watch it, like, it's almost as good as a video of the plan to save the world that we got 7 years ago from Joe M. It's that powerful. You'll be so inspired when you watch this. It's like, once they build one firewall, they've just breached 3 more, right? These assholes. And
Right. Yeah.
they try to build firewalls to stop them. There's 20 more. They have no hope. So they have to now do, obviously, something. Made a good point. Like, they probably now have to speed this up because they are forked. There's no way
They're going
out.
to keep delaying it.
What's that?
They're going to keep delaying it, but I guarantee you they're being watched and tracked and traced, and they know we know where everything's going.
They're not learning fast enough. You can do whatever you want. It don't make a difference. You're already buried, right?
Can I tell you how I see this, like, from an aerial perspective, what we're all watching here, commentating on this? I think what we're seeing now is, like, imagine like a bunch of rats in a maze that had their exits, and we have blocked all their exits, and we're watching them from a 100,000-foot view, looking at them scurry, going to their exits, and their exits are blocked, and panicking and leaving, and they're all doing this, and soon they're going to be eating each other.
Yep.
And then taking themselves out. That's what we're going to see. That's what we're watching right now. Like, right now, we're watching them scurry to the known exits and watching the exits go boom, close up on them. And they're freaking out, going to the next exit. Boom, that's closing up on them. Then, okay, they go to the next exit. Boom, another one. And then now they're going to be looking at each other. They start eating each other and then taking themselves out. That's what I see happening. That's what we're watching.
They're also going after more rats too. So they're going after Kathy Hochul in New York.
Well, they're all the rats. They're all the rats.
There are more rats, and now they're starting to implicate them too. So they're going after. They're pulling more rats into the rat trap.
Yep.
And I've said on my show months and months ago with Eric Adams, I'm like, I see what's happening with Eric. They pulled him aside. They interrogated that guy. Said, "Hey, you gonna play ball, motherfucker?" And he's like, "Okay, I will." Eric Adams, the mayor.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know that's what happened. And now he's playing ball, and now Kathy Hochul's going after him, wants to release him as mayor because they're all in trouble. So now we're watching it, man. I just had Simon Parks on, right? I had Simon Parks on Nino's Corner.tv, and he's a brilliant guy, by the way, brilliant guy. Telling me that he doesn't believe there's going to be justice. He thinks that he's lived a lot of his life in politics, and his family's been in the three-letter or the intelligence agencies, and he doesn't see justice coming. I completely disagree with him.
Me too.
Although he's brilliant, man. I love talking to the guy on the podcast. I don't agree with that part, and I think we all agree here that I think justice is coming. The only reason Trump went through what he went through, letting the charge, I think part of that was staged.
Yeah.
He knew that he was going to get off. That's why he took the mugshot like all badass, and he was confident. He knew where this operation was going. The only reason that even happened is, which is happening right now.
Yeah, the public court is really turning against them, and that's the most powerful one that we have, and that's the one we've been trying to stir up for a long time, and now it's really starting to manifest on a rapid pace. It's just like I know you guys are like me. It's like every day you wake up, it's like this is like a fire hose, trying to drink from a fire hose.
Christmas in
Information,
Disneyville every
all
day.
the takedown and what they're giving up and what they're pushing. Oh my God! But remember, we had that last show. We all of us said that Trump has to come at these guys. He's got to hammer them. He got to push them, and he's doing it. He must have listened to our show.
I was thinking the same thing, Mike. And here's another thing that's awesome. The MSN cannot keep up with the floodgates being open. So they don't have time to go and doctor up a story or fight against it, because once the minute something comes out and they go try to do damage control, boom, something else is out. Boom again, boom again, boom again. It's like a barrage of punches. And
they're
it's
not
the
getting
killer
paid
instinct.
money anymore.
No, dude.
USAID is not getting. They're not getting their money.
They're done, dude.
They're not getting paid to lie.
I think the deep state's done.
They've been setting this. They've been setting this operation up for decades, setting this operation up. What we're seeing now just wasn't spontaneous. We're going in to kick ass. This thing has been orchestrated for decades, just like the Biden crime syndicate presidency. I mean, like I said, I've said this so many times, I keep saying it. Once he walked out in 2019, out in the open as a potential candidate, like I said, I've been following this shithead since the late 80s, and I'm like, what the hell is this? What? That ain't Biden. And I'm thinking, what's going to erupt? 2 weeks later, not one congressman, not one senator who served with this clown for decades were saying, what? That ain't Biden. This is what the hell's going on? Nobody said shit. And in my mind, I was like, there you go. Military operation. Who's got the power? Here's what you all are going to shut the fuck up. And this is what you're going to do. And that's why for the last 4 years, and many people are flipping out as we saw our audience. I'm sitting back like, this is incredible. Like, we're going to have the greatest reveal ever from this shit.
I'm not sure if this might interest you, but people ask me, how did you lose
So that being said, all of it planned out, perfectly synchronized, and we've been waiting for the hammer. Can you imagine, Mike, when Trump came out and announced, I can't remember if you and I ever talked about what you thought as soon as he made that announcement. I was like, Moses just parted the sea. Once he said they're fake news, I was like, what? Did he say that? And he kept going. I was like, holy shit. Now, if somebody was said to me, and that's when I said, holy shit, there he is. I never saw him coming. I've been saying there is no Reagan on the horizon. He superseded Reagan. But from that moment right there, if somebody was said, hey, Scott, this is going to happen. I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's going to take 10 years. What? We won't survive that. But here we are 10 years later, 2015, 2025. None of us, even we were in the Q operation in the late 2017, 2018. If somebody was said, yeah, but it's going to take 7 years, we'd be like, no way. We'd been flipping out ourselves.
Yeah.
Here we are. Here we are. 10
But
years
it was
later.
necessary. It was really necessary. And now that's why I'm saying, like, I just see it like avalanching now. It's like we're watching it free fall. They're done, man. I don't see them. I also see that anything that they were planning to do, that they're getting ready to do, has been minimized now, or it's been scaled back because we've taken away all their money. And it's just dominoes. It's over. I really do believe. And then I go to the halftime show, Game Over. Was that a direct hit to the deep state? I mean, what was that? I don't know. I mean,
when you say game over at halftime, there's only one meeting. Right?
Yeah, and then the Chiefs lost
game over.
That. Yeah, I mean, dude,
It could be the other way around, though. I think that that halftime show was basically deep state in our face again.
Really?
So it remains to be seen. We'll find out. But Trump is basically saying that he's going to start using military funds to start doing a contractor group to help with the illegal aliens. So now we're having Department of Justice, Tom Holman. They're saying, if you're a mayor, if you're a governor, and you try and resist the federal government from protecting the people, we're going to come after you. So that's what they're doing. Because a lot of these Democrat governors and mayors have been hiding some of these cartel members and so forth in their cities. That's why we have to go after them. They just went to Denver to get some of those Sinaloa cartel guys, and they got a tip off. Somebody tipped them off. So that's dangerous for those agents that are going in. If those guys get a tip off and they could walk into ambush, but they went into a place and they were gone. So where do they go? Now we have these guys that could have been wrapped up and taken out as potential threats to those cities, and now they're spread out in those cities, hiding somewhere else now. So this is what we're going through. So I think the contractor army, and this is what I learned when I was overseas, and when I worked for Blackwater and then eventually for the CIA, the contractors don't have the same stipulations that the military does. We would have military guys come up to and say, we have all these restrictions against us and these guys are trying to kill us. Can you fight them? And I was like, yeah, we'll go take care of that. So we were doing that. So imagine a contractor army. This is the way I see this. Contractor army from these contractors are supposedly getting rid of these illegal immigrants, and then they turn violent, and you have a contractor group that basically turns into a warfighting unit, because the army, it's really tough to get the military involved in the United States, guys. It's hard to get them involved overseas. We're talking about Black Hawk Down. Those guys had a lot of stipulations on them of how they could fight and so forth. And eventually they're like just free for all out there, shooting everything that, was obviously a problem. And then they didn't have any blowback. But guys, when I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, a lot of those places, we would have, executive, stipulations every day, rules of engagement, ROEs. You can't do this, you can't do that. And it's confusing. Every day there's a new one. So we have that problem overseas. What do you think is going to happen here in America? It's going to be really restrictive, but a contractor army doesn't have that. So that may be something we're going to see. Egypt. I know I saw one of your headlines, Nino. Egypt has a presence on the Sinai border with Israel that is breaking the peace agreement right now. 20 times what they're supposed to have. It's crazy. And we just had Chernobyl get hit with a Russian drone? Really? So we're seeing they're trying to do some crap.
Well, it's gonna happen whether we like it or not. Like even Trump being in there, they're like, all right, let's just go forward with our plans. We gotta ignite World War III. That's how sick these elites are.
Well,
because it's either that or they're done, man. And they see it happening, how fast Trump's moving, so they know their time is up. They gotta move now fast. I think, and what do you guys think? March. I think this month, March is the God of War.
Spring, absolutely. God of War.
Dude, I see
March.
Ides
of March, absolutely.
Ides of March, yeah.
Good point.
What do you guys see happening?
Well,
the attacks in the cities. They're going to keep poking the Russian bear, even though Trump's in there trying to, like he just was talking to Putin, and now that this Chernobyl drone from Russia really hit Chernobyl. When they first came into Ukraine, the Russians went and secured Chernobyl. Hello. So this is obvious.
But have you seen how the propaganda, the MSM is turning it on Trump, saying that the war is going to, if you're paying attention to the MSM right now, they're saying that the war to come is going to be because Trump is teaming up with Putin.
Exactly. He's trying to make peace, and they're flipping it. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So they're saying, okay, so Trump is not going to cooperate with us. We're still going to go forward with war, and we're going to blame it on Trump and Putin. That they're secretly working together. That's how I see this. I mean, that's what's already being put out there.
Well, I think the guys.
Well, it's good to bring that up, because that's what we need to be letting everybody know. They're going to try this game just like they did for the election. Russia. They lied. Yeah. But who went to jail for lying? Nobody. These people need to start going to jail so they don't do this anymore. Hello.
Good point.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that they say that, because if Democrats really didn't want a war in Ukraine and Russia, stop giving Ukraine weapons. No weapons, no war. If he can talk to Putin and make Putin stop on his end, and we stop giving him weapons that we're paying for, the war ends. But they don't think like that. They're exactly right about that.
I think it deserves fair warning for the cartel guys and everybody who's going to come at us. I would say, I think it's really critical that you watch this 3-part series, the documentary Black Hawk Down, because we don't have to predict your future. That's it. The difference is you don't have a bunch of Somalis running around with AKs that are undisciplined. You got 30 million veterans, and you have about 600 million weapons in the hands of Americans. And that's what Juan said when this begins. He said, law enforcement, stay out of their way. They got to do a job. They will be overwhelmed quickly. And that's when you can sort of stand by and support. And then, of course, as they're overwhelmed, and that could be the near-death experience he's talking about, but the American, not just the American veteran, but the American, well, how many of us have weapons? 100 million are going to say, holy shit, this is real. We're going to have to do this ourselves. And then you have tens of millions of weapons in the hands of capable shooters. And Juan said, he said, look, he said, what'll happen is after about 3 days of this shock that we are hit with, once we overcome that shock, we're going to say, holy shit, we better get busy. And he said, it won't be hard. You're going to see groups of Chinese and a group of Chinese people in your neighborhood or community that don't belong there. You're going to know who's who. Boom, they're out. And anybody who looks like they're anywhere nearby your community of people that don't belong there, people are just going to say, fuck rules of engagement. We have a lot of dead Americans. They don't belong here. Take them out. And it's like in Somalia, just like these guys said, anybody they deemed a threat, even if they weren't, you're just trying to survive and save your life. That Delta guy said, he said, he said it finally kicked in. He said, like anything, anybody that was a potential threat, boom, you got wiped out. I think that's the warning that the other side needs. I've said this since 2020. Just like the UN, you come in here, I promise you, to do their dirty work, say goodbye to your family. You guys are never going home. There's going to be a nation with blue helmets all over the ground with bullet holes in them, because once you make that move, even if you're saying flag up the pole.
Blue Chew have stronger and longer lasting erections. Sign up for 1 month free. You won't regret it.
I'm surrendering. No American is going to say, because I don't care if you're running, they're going to shoot you in the back and kill you right where you are. That's the threat they have. It's just us turning the tide from the shock of it all and saying, ain't happening here. We're going to take out everybody. So that's a warning to that other side.
I think they have to do something because they're seeing how fast Trump is moving. And really what's happening, the chess game here, Trump's pushing them into a move. That's what I think is happening here.
Maybe.
And this move that they're going to commit, I think is going to happen sometime in March. I think March. I think that's a good month that they would try to do something. And I think it's going to be some kind of conflict or attack that arises to get Trump to respond, get him off their asses. Because they need the heat off him, man. They need a distraction. They need everything. They're pulling it all out now. So I think that's a good, and I'm saying it's a prediction. I always could be wrong, but I'm just saying, like, I think, I don't know. If I was betting right now, I'd go for it. But it's all on black, baby. Let's go. I think they're going to go for it, and I think it's going to be around March.
The
Ides of March, man.
They have to do something.
They have to, dude. We are on their ass. The walls are closing in. Charges, investigations. How long can they delay cash? It's over. They got to do something.
Well, they're desperate. I just learned about 2 different roll-ups on 2 different people of our friends. By the way, I was in Malibu with Sasha last week, and I got a text sitting at the Conscious Life Expo. We were waiting to go on. Dr. Robert Young, 10 years ago, that wrote the pH Miracle. The guy's got like a thousand.
Yeah, I think I've had him on my show.
I was sitting there and I just got the text. Again, 10 years in, they've taken everything he's got, stripped him bare, and again, another round to take him down. They convicted him on all charges. And what was stunning, when I was talking to his partner, trying to take
I didn't even
down.
know this was.
Okay, let me
I
fill
didn't
you
know
in.
this was happening.
Galena, who was in the courtroom, they're trying to take his partner down as well. They turned a lady that Robert has known for 40 years. 40 years. She's wrote a foreword of his book. The daughter, somehow they got to the daughter and turned her. And another thing is this. It was such an overwhelming demolition that his attorneys did to the district attorney, who now is apparently a effing criminal, the judge, everybody. They must have turned the jury because they knew 1000% they demolished the government's case. And when they came back and read guilty on all counts, she said not one single juror picked their head up. They were all looking down. The sheriff was blown away. The bailiff was blown away. Their attorneys were blown away. A crime scene in a courtroom, once again, it doesn't matter what you can show, the absolute proof. This is a crime syndicate for Big Pharma. They're covering everybody. And by the way, I'm going to put this out here. When this happened, I said to Sasha, I'm going to raise an army to be in that courtroom on March 28th when they're going to sentence this guy. They want him done for life. They want him killed in prison. And we can't let it happen. This is my clarion call. Podcasters who have an audience, scratch that off of your calendar, the 28th. We need to have a legion of podcasters in there, in that courtroom when they sentence this guy. The good thing is there's somebody on deck right now. She's 80 years old. She's walked 2,000 people out of courtrooms and jails in the last 30 years. She knows their laws and codes better than they do. And we went through this how she's going to do this. So this is the only hope to keep this guy either out of jail or being in there.
I didn't even know he was going through this.
It just happened. I didn't know either. I didn't know the court case was underway because I texted
Wait,
him.
how long has he been fighting this?
10 years. This court,
he's been fighting this for 10 years.
Dude, they came in, FBI illegally seized his properties, taken all of his wealth. The last time I was with him last year, this time, he came up to Sue's place, Mike, in Malibu there. And he's driving this SUV, this old junker, right? Now he's got it for certain reasons because they can't track it, all this bullshit. But they have had this guy under the gun legally in courts for 10 freaking years. The culmination was just what happened last week. 3-week court case, demolished their case. They committed crimes against, they committed crimes. They showed the DA they committed crimes to try to bury this guy. And he was going to walk out of that courtroom, and they came back with guilty on all counts. They bought off the jurors. I guarantee it. My opinion, they fucking bought them off because they could clearly see these people are criminals trying to put this guy behind bars. And we can't let that happen. We cannot.
So where was the courtroom located?
I think it's San Diego County, but Southern Cal. We'll have to figure out exactly which courtroom. But I'm still speaking to his partner because I said, trust me, the Patriots are not going to allow this to happen. We're already working on getting in touch with RFK, because he knows RFK. RFK knows Robert Young. But this one we can't allow because this is the example they're going to make. In fact, I know somebody else, which I won't say in the air. Juan knows about this one. Took this other one down, who's been curing people, right? And
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, weapons and murder charges and shit. And he said, we're going to keep this a little bit low profile. But in that office, one of the FBI guys said, and one of the staff heard it, we're doing these quickly before Trump comes in. We're doing these quickly before Trump comes in. So this happened, right? I guess maybe right before the inauguration.
Yeah, I heard about this.
That's the threat. And we can't allow our Patriot friends who've paid a price for a decade like him to, that's too bad. Like Tina Peters, that's too bad she's in there. We believe they're going to get out, Tina Peters, but you know what they're going to try to do to Robert Young. He's going to be defenseless, and we can't allow it. So I'll be in that courtroom on the 28th of March. Any podcasters out there that you want to come,
I can't believe
prepared
this, man.
to cover this story. We are not letting this son
It's
of a
tough, man. This, I thought I would show up at a court in Washington, D.C. We could turn stuff, but people in D.C. are completely corrupt.
Yep.
I used to live in San Diego. It used to be a very conservative place, but it's turned very, liberal as well. Unfortunately, pretty much all the big cities in California are super liberal. Mm-hmm. Even San Diego, which was like super conservative, because we had all the military there. So it's tough. It's tough to overcome that. Once a jury, does that, you're pretty much uphill battle. I don't know how you're going to reverse it, but
this lady has walked people out of a courtroom on sentencing day.
I hope so.
She went through that. She explained to me, like I say, she's been at this for decades. She knows every statute, every code better than they do. And the reason,
but they're not abiding by the law at all. They don't
No,
even
here's the
care.
thing. It doesn't matter. They never abide by the law, but because she can show them, I know what you're doing better than you do. And when she puts out how she presents it, they now know they can't escape. If somebody out there has the knowledge, they can bury them and put them in prison. That's the point. And that's how she's done it. 2,000 people successfully in 30 years out of the courtroom or out of jail. Because once you ask the right question and they know exactly what you're asking, like, holy shit, I can't do this because then I've just openly committed a crime. This person can prove it, and I'll be removed from the bench and I'll go to jail. So there is hope. There's absolutely hope here with this person.
Yeah, I mean, look at President Trump. You know, they came after him. They thought he was done. You know, and then that didn't work with all the trials. They were like going to throw him in prison. They were like, okay, we'll just execute him. That didn't work either. So now he's in office. He's coming after them. So we and every 50 state, everybody has to get involved. Everybody. Against these leftist loonies, man.
Yep.
And these judges and all these politicians that are in place. They're totally against us, and it's going to be tough. Once the rioting starts, and
You're not a child, you're a man. So stop wearing so many layers to go outside and get the bearskin
they start killing leftists, the leftists are going to even protect them. So like you talked about, when we, I don't know if I'm going to go in the leftist place and help them, but when the surrounding, militias, come in to converge on these places, and everyone that's in the way gets shot, those leftists are going to get in the way, I promise you. And there's going to be a massive slaughter. That's why I've been saying to get out of these cities for years now, because I think there's going to be a massive slaughter. And that's what's going to have to happen, basically, to, just stop the violence that's going on in those cities. I think this is my view. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't happen. We can all pray on it.
Well,
we can manifest maybe something different, but I don't see any way around it.
Well, they're already setting the pretenses. I mean, like, I just saw on my Twitter that someone, or my ex, someone saying that Zelensky's the one that did, bomb Chernobyl. So people are onto this. People are like paying attention, and they're already setting the narrative here, or they're trying to. But yeah, there's just no way out of this for them. They're in a corner. They have to fight. They're not going to just bow down and give up. They were in charge for thousands of years, dude. They're not going to just, especially the last few decades, man. They were like, we were ripe for the taking, and then all of a sudden we come in and just boom, snatch it from them. You think they're going to take that? They're going to go out fighting, dude. I just don't see how they don't. I'm sorry. They're not going to just say, okay,
that's
okay.
Us.
We're guilty.
That's okay, because we're pissed after all these years.
Yeah,
all the way back to when Trump was coming into office the first time, and they came after him while he's in office, and then while he's out of office, we're like Somali times 10.
Yeah, I know. And
you nailed it, Mike. You said, look, the people are going to have to get involved. The simple fact is this: I've said this for the last 5 years, folks. You are going to fight by choice or by force. Either you choose now to get involved right now, because if you don't, it's going to be if we don't get enough people involved right now, it's going to be way worse, because now it's coming to your doorstep. And when it comes to your doorstep and threatens your life, your family's life, whatever, you're going to fight. You may not like it. If you think you're going to avoid it, you are brain dead. In fact, this is something I never forgot. Cordy Williams, when we were on the Reawaken tour, Cordy Williams decided to run for the Senate. Here's what he told me, and this was as striking as anything I'd heard in decades. He said, Scott, because I've been saying forever, our side loses because we don't show up. We, the people, don't show up. They do. They got nothing else to do. They're freaking losers. They don't have a mission in life. But here's what he said. He said, in San Diego County, Scott, alone, just San Diego County, he said there's 167 political seats that run unopposed. Democrats just walk right in. Why? We don't show up. Republicans, conservatives, Americans, Christians, Bible Belt, gun owners, NRA. We don't freaking show up. How the hell do you think this got to be this way? We won't show up. We outnumber these people massively. The conservative faction, the Christian faction, the common sense faction outnumbers this thimble full of lunatics massively, but they win because we don't show up. Well, like I said, Mike, it's going to be every Americans they're going to get involved. Question is, what's the damage by the time it happens if you wait till the end? Because as we always do, Winston Churchill said this best. Here's what he said. Never forgot it. He said, Americans always do what's right. That's why they're great. They always do what's right after they've exhausted every other option.
Yeah, and we helped calm everybody because we weren't in a position basically to get active, and we were like, we're not promoting because it wasn't a good time to do that. But if these guys get crazy, these loonies get crazy, it's going to be time to do that. Now, Cordy Williams, basically Megaphone Marine, he told me behind the scenes that the GOP basically took the funding that he should have got because he was a front runner. Everybody was behind him. And they gave it to the guy that had lost over and over again. So Rhino's basically taken all that money, that seed money that he could have used to basically gotten a lot of, time on the air and all kind of stuff like that. They're attacking him like crazy. He could have won that. But they did that. And, who was that guy that was on your show, that the boxer that was going to be, he was going to be the next governor of Nevada. Who's that guy? That guy was amazing.
Out of Las Vegas.
Joey Gilbert.
Joey Gilbert.
Oh my God, they screwed that guy too.
100%.
The GOP screwed that guy. That guy was like a shoo-in, and everybody loved him. I was like, man, I'm going to come and help you. And then he shot him down. I was like, what?
Dude, it was a done deal. We were campaigning for that guy, and everywhere we went, I'm like, it was raucous. People were so fired up because he was a badass candidate. It stole.
I can't think of a better guy that should anywhere. He would have crushed it anywhere. He could have been the vice president. I was like, that guy should be vice president. You're going to be governor, should be vice president.
Yeah, Joey Gilbert.
I said Joey Gilbert wins the selection, wins the primary against Lombardo, and gets the governorship. It changes the entire political landscape of the whole nation. But they the fix was in. They're
not going to let that happen. Are you kidding me?
No,
but I think going forward now it could.
It could because there has been a sea change in Nevada, and now he could probably get in there. I hope he didn't get totally pissed off, but I would love to come help him. Joe, if you're out there listening,
I would see him.
Man, you're the greatest. So let's.
It was just bad timing.
Yeah, it was bad time, and he bowed out. He didn't make a stink of it. Maybe somebody had to talk with him and told him this is the way it's going to be. We need to get this guy in because he's going to be easy fit. And
you just nailed it, Mike.
I don't know.
It wasn't exactly that way, but you just nailed it. That this thing happened after the fact when he was challenging the fraud in the election. Hate to say it, but I got the word. He cut a deal to shut up.
Yeah,
that
makes sense.
Sad to say. Mindy Robinson will tell you the same thing. Sad to say.
Well, I mean, everybody has to do that. Even to get RFK Jr. in, he had to back off on the vaccination stuff. He's like, well, vaccinations for specific things do work. So he had to say that, even though I know
that doesn't mean he can do something different.
Yeah.
Well, what he meant was,
once you get in there, you can I did say that, but I'm looking at evidence now, and I'm not for him. So
here's the strategy, Mike. Here's the Sun Tzu strategy. Vaccinations in certain cases are necessary, right? Yeah, when you want somebody dead. And we have some people on their side we want dead. So he's telling the truth, right? He's telling the truth. He's not going to lie.
They're great for depopulation.
Exactly.
True.
And making people have cancer and all kind of other problems. And,
Man, I've been noticing that a lot, man. People dropping from cancer, man.
Uptick.
And they don't correlate it. They don't. That's what's crazy. It's not something you could trace back to the vaccine. These people just think they got cancer. I don't know, man.
Turbo cancer.
So many different ways.
It's like they have no problem, and then there's like, I got this strange thing going on, and then they go, the doctor's like, you're stage 4, you're going to die tomorrow. It's like, what?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. When I
Bad.
told the doctor that when my mom got really bad dementia, my dad's having seizures, I was like, it's a vaccine. He looked at the fact that he looked at me like a deer in headlights and didn't know what to say. He looked at me like I was a conspiracy theorist. You're a fucking idiot, bro. I'm sorry. I looked at him and I was like, I have zero respect for you that you can't even correlate the two. You can't even put this together. I can, you can't. I'm a boxer, but you can't. And then it occurred to me. It
Yeah.
occurred to me. It's like, there's not really much intelligence going on when you just have to just
Brainwash.
memorize it and regurgitate it on a test. Not really thinking out of the box. That's where the intelligence is. Thinking outside the box.
Yes,
That's
sir.
where it's
Very
at.
good. Yep.
And then critical thinking and problem solving.
You got
Not
some
just doing
outside
what
the box thinking
people-
mofos right here.
Is produce just too expensive at the grocery store? Have you dreamed of growing a garden year-round in your home, but just no room or no money? Or you just can't afford those expensive kits to get it going? Well, honestly, none of that is a problem. What if I told you you don't need the space, the money, or even a whole lot of knowledge? That's right. My husband and I had been researching and talking about it for a number of years. We wanted to
Here.
That's what I'm saying.
We
think
Mike,
inside
we
the
built
box.
the box.
They do what they're told. They follow lockstep. They
I can't
bow,
even find
they
a box.
keep going.
Yeah, can't find the box. Listen, guys, this is something that I just had a conversation before we came on. I had a guy, his name is Mike Wallach. He's a neurosurgeon. Went to the NHL, was there running for a couple of years. His buddy, who is a career NHL guy, just invited somebody. Oh, it was Clayton Thomas. Knows Dan Kesmer because he played in Dallas and he played in Nashville. And he called me up when I said, dude, he said, I got somebody who wants you to meet lunch for. He said, this guy's a huge fan of yours. He played, in NHL for these teams. And he said, my God, this guy's in Dallas. You got to set me up for lunch. So I meet Dan. He's a great guy. He's totally one of us. His friend, Mike Wallach, Dr. Wallach, neurosurgeon, he's fought these bastards the whole way through, hospital to hospital, state to state. So I just had a three-way Zoom with these guys because I wanted to meet Mike and I'm going to bring him on. But before we get off, here's what he said. And this is what we face. And he's a really sharp guy. He sees a long-term picture. He said, here's the thing, Scott. He said, the biggest challenge we have, he said, obviously they run off all the people that are like us. And you got these woke people in there. He said, but here's the biggest problem we got. The new wave coming up through, he said they're getting rid of anybody that's an independent thinker. And all these younger doctors and the ones coming in, they're totally bought into the narrative. He said, so even though they dismantle this thing from the top, he said, we have got legions of these people, these doctors who truly believe in one thing, the narrative, big pharma, give them drugs. Like you said, all the bullshit lies, cholesterol, blood pressure, all these things, they refashion the numbers. In the years, like 400 cholesterol was perfect. You need cholesterol to continue to rebuild the myelin tissue in the nervous system. And so when you start taking cholesterol drugs to strip it away, why do you think we have dementia and Alzheimer's off the chart? All this shit's planned. These guys buy into it. So he said that's our biggest problem that we're going to face.
Their only answer for anything is, oh, have you tried this pill? Have you tried this medication? How about this one? Oh, you have side effects? Take this pill. Oh, you have side effects for that pill too? Oh, let me think. How about this pill? It's nonstop. It's nonstop. Pill for this, pill for that, pill for this, pill for side effects. Oh, I got a pill for that. Nothing holistic, nothing preventative. They know not zero dick about vaccines, what it's doing. They don't think that direction. I'm sorry. I can't. They're morons, a lot of them, and they wear the masks in the hospital, a little thin piece of paper. It's like, get the fuck out of here, man. I'm sorry, dude. Dude, I'm in the hospital all the time with my parents. I see it all day long. These people are pharma zombies. That's what they are. Let's call them what they are.
We got to insert. We got to insert a little.
Dude, this is a lot of frustration on my part because I'm in the hospital every other week, and I'm in there for a month straight, and I'm talking to these people, and it's like this, bro. It's like this.
Nino, calm down. Calm down. We don't want you to get those blood pressure pills out today.
Yeah, I need to go take my blood pressure pills now.
Dude, check this out. I just saw this. This one guy got to lighten it up a little bit to calm Nino down. Here's this guy.
I'm dealing with it every day.
He's got erectile dysfunction or whatever, something like that. And the doctor is telling him, he says, look, there's nothing that can't be solved here with diet and exercise. He said, I know. Would you please tell my wife that? He said, yes, you're right on this. Would you please tell her?
I gotta remember that one. Wow, that's great.
Don't ever use that, Nino. Don't even test.
That's
don't even
fucking
field
funny,
test it.
man. That's good, dude. I like that shit.
I know.
The
Would you
whole
tell my wife
problem
that?
all along was his wife. Oh my god. You guys, I gotta bounce.
All right, man.
All right. Well,
All right,
look,
guys.
it was good to see you guys, ladies and gentlemen. There's another wrap for the Three Amigos, and I guess we'll probably see you in a couple weeks, see what transpires between now and then, get these gentlemen back for their perspective. Guys, keep up the great work out there. And in the meantime, let's keep enjoying Christmas in Disneyville because Trump's making it out with Doge every day.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Much love, man. Patriot
All right,
Street
love you
Fighter,
guys.
Nino,
Cheers.
and Janko out.
That was awesome,
Okay,
Rolly.
here, Patriot Street Fighter podcast, also the host of the Tipping Point Revolution Radio, here for kind of an overview of one of the battle plans we deployed a couple of years ago, 2 years ago.
All right, guys. So it's interesting what they're talking about there. They make it sound like things are going to get really rough and crazy. You should leave cities. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. That was my thoughts on it 6 months ago, but it's always good to get to know your neighborhood. See, the problem is the real enemy here, I don't even know what I did with my phone, is your damn phone and your computer. That's the problem with the silent war. It's good on the one hand because you still live your life and a lot of people don't even know what's happening. On the other hand, you're stuck on your fucking phone. And I think sometimes they just plug the media with a bunch of bullshit stories just to keep people on their phones. That's the Matrix. That's the box. This is, you have to get outside of that. And that's the only way people will survive is people working with people. And you need to know your neighbors. You need to know your neighborhood. You need to know if you have elderly people in your neighborhood that can't help themselves. You need to know if you have children in your neighborhood. Things have to exist on a local level again. I know I talk about it too when we talk about transparency and truth. On the one hand, we all want to know the big picture. We all want to know. But I don't. Maybe it's just not even time yet. We have to learn to exist on the local level, the smaller picture, before we can even get the big picture made into a picture, if that makes any sense. It's kind of necessary to the rebuilding process. A few things I wanted to show you guys.
You got AOC out there.
This is what
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman, putting out a webinar, doing a webinar to help illegals avoid, I guess, apprehension, giving tips about how to continue to remain in the country and ultimately game the system.
And I sent an email today to the Deputy Attorney General. At what level is that impediment? Is that impediment? I'm not an attorney. I'm not a prosecutor. Is that impediment? Is that impeding our law enforcement efforts? If so, what are we going to do about it? Is she crossing the line? So I'm working with the Department of Justice and finding out where is that line that they cross. So maybe AOC is going to be in trouble now, but I need the AOG to opine on that. But because there's impediment, it's impediment in my opinion. I'm not a prosecutor, but we need some further guidance on that. But again, if we have to take every federal dollar out of the city, we'll do it. I mean, we're done. This is.
I absolutely agree with him, too. It's 100% what's happening. They are instructing people how to break the law.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to record everything you say in your car, and then I'm going to take that information and I'm going to sell it. What would you think about that? The horrible thing is that's actually happening. Of course, I can't do that. I'm just some guy. But Mozilla did some research in this privacy not included. Cars are the worst product category we've ever reviewed for privacy. Just look it up. Mozilla, privacy not included. Here's the report. Get ready.
Did you ever think your OnStar was spying on you? A little button you press for help in your car. Even when the service isn't hooked up, I'm assuming. It's messed up. They're probably listening right now, guys. After this short video here, I've got an interesting video I think you guys will all want to see.
Edward Bernays is known as the father of propaganda. The meat industry came to Edward Bernays and said, we need to push more sales of bacon, more sales of meat. Can we figure out how to introduce meats into the breakfast diet? So they built an entire marketing campaign behind breakfast being the most important meal of the day. It skyrocketed. Sausage sales, bacon sales, ham sales. Bro, breakfast wasn't a thing. They made it a thing. You want to know the craziest part? You know who's the nephew of the guy from Propaganda, Edward Bernays? You know who's his family member? Bill Gates? The founder of Netflix.
And what is Netflix, bro?
Propaganda machines, bro. It's all propaganda machines.
Freaking nuts. Propaganda machines. Speaking of which, I think this next one will hit home with all of you guys. Make sure I got the right one. This was a guy that had COVID really bad and was in the hospital. And he was getting worse and worse. And the family was trying to get him ivermectin treatment. And they had to put up a fight. Let's just watch the video.
On July 28, 2021, my father walked into the emergency room with COVID-19. For weeks, my family and I sat by as we watched the standard of procedure bring him closer and closer to death. And even when we were told there was no other options, all of our requests for any alternative treatments were continuously denied.
You know what? The standard of care, he should have been vaccinated as well.
Well, that's what you guys heard Carl to tell us too.
We'll leave it at that. We're doing the best we can. I assure you.
You said we was denied treatment when we're begging you to try this on our father.
I understand.
But do you really?
I do.
I feel like I might start publishing this information to my platform.
Despite being shot down repeatedly by the hospital, I was able to connect with several experts around the world who encouraged me to keep fighting for the treatments that our government is suppressing. After weeks of nonstop research, I gained access to the real-time meta-analysis on the drug ivermectin, which now includes 81 studies, 61 of them peer-reviewed, and 33 randomized controlled trials. The drug is FDA approved and has been used safely in humans for decades around the world. In 2015, it won the Nobel Prize. It is cheap and widely available, and it has far more science behind it than any other drug we are using to treat COVID. Yet for some reason, the FDA is blocking the hospitals from filling prescriptions, and the mainstream media is misleading people into thinking it's not safe for humans. When I first learned this, I couldn't believe it myself either. How could there be a drug with so much science behind it and I'm being told there's no other options? So I looked up the email format for a hospital employee and sent the studies to all of my dad's doctors. I also printed them out and brought them in person and demanded my dad the right to try. On August 13th, he became the first person that they ever treated with ivermectin. He received 12 milligrams a day for 5 days, and within 2 weeks, he was on the road to the miraculous recovery that we all witnessed. Yet for some reason, when the family in the room next door was begging to try, they were told they weren't allowed because the FDA put a ban on it September 2nd. We are 2 years into this pandemic. Why is the government still forcing dangerous treatments like remdesivir and banning the safe and effective ones? Not only are they banning them, but any doctor or scientist who speaks about them is being censored and deplatformed. Our medical professionals who are risking their lives to save us are being forced to watch patients die while there's a safe and effective treatment in the pharmacy right downstairs. They are understaffed and overworked because we fired our heroes over a vaccine that clearly doesn't stop the spread. I know a lot of people will find this shocking and offensive, but I just can't go on enjoying our victory without sharing the truth with the world. Over the last few months, I've worked directly with dozens of families who are experiencing the same problems in hospitals around the country.
So we've had 7 doses of ivermectin. She has dramatically increased. This is how we saved my wife
Alyssa Goldstein.
This isn't a conspiracy. This is actually happening, and it could be you or your loved one next. Over 20 countries have already adopted ivermectin as treatment. This is the United States of America. Why are people on their deathbeds being denied access to life-saving treatments? Why does it feel like the people who are supposed to be protecting us are purposely trying to cover up the medicine that works?
So why will you not commit to sharing everything open, unredacted with this Congress?
So here's an example.
Dr. Fauci, this hearing is critically important to the American people. There are millions of people infected with the COVID virus. It is impacting every part of our economy. Every family is asking for answers to critical questions.
Leaked documents from the Department of Defense state that this virus was created by the American EcoHealth Alliance at the Wuhan Institute of Virology and was then intentionally concealed when the virus managed to escape the lab and take the lives of millions. They also state that ivermectin was identified as a cure back in April of 2020 for all phases of the disease, yet it is still impossible for us to get. Why? Is it because no money can be made off this cheap off-patent drug? Pfizer's expected to bring in $54 billion this year, and they are also responsible for the largest healthcare fraud settlement in U.S. history. Would a cheap and effective treatment get in the way of Big Pharma's profits? Have the people in power really been truthful?
Biden wants to inoculate as many people as possible. The drug companies, the food companies, the vaccine companies, they pay us hundreds of millions of dollars a year to hire and keep the reviewers to approve their products. If they can get every person required at an annual vaccine, that is a recurring return of money.
This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin, and your refusal has cost all of us.
The efficacy of ivermectin in all of these phases is just truly remarkable. We know how effective it is.
Any pharmaceutical company can manufacture.
It's out of patent and not high profit.
This becomes part of the issue with highlighting it, right?
And there's no money to be made off ivermectin.
They cannot grant an emergency use authorization if there is an existing treatment that is safe and effective, right? The vaccines would not have been authorized if ivermectin was understood to be what it is. And that, I have the sense, is the key thing that explains everything else.
They are. The CDC and FDA are the sponsors of the U.S. vaccine program. Now Bobby Kennedy has his book out, The Real Anthony Fauci. I can tell you that if you want to find the evidence that Moderna was working on the vaccine before the virus ever emanated out of the lab, if you wanted to find the collusions and how all this was organized, they published this. It says it's going to be a coronavirus. It's going to come over here to the United States. It's going to shut down cities and frighten people. There's going to be confusion regarding a drug, hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin. And we're going to utilize all that in order to railroad the population into mass vaccination. It's laid out in the Johns Hopkins SPARS pandemic training seminar.
It's just hard to imagine being a person denying treatment and then to cast this judgment on them. Why weren't you vaccinated? We're not going to treat you.
You know what? The standard of care, he should have been vaccinated as well.
I mean, but this is what's happening to a lot of patients.
That's what's happened to 800,000 Americans.
And so this is why you believe that at least 50% of those deaths could have been prevented.
That was in November of 2020 under sworn testimony. Maybe it's 90% now if we got what you got.
The facts are clear. The NIH did fund gain-of-function research in Wuhan despite your protestations. Viruses not found in nature were created, and yes, they gained in infectivity. Will you today finally take some responsibility for funding gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
I disagree with so many of the things that you've said.
History will figure that out on its own.
My family and I are forever grateful that God spared our father's life. We're grateful for the community who came through when we needed them most, for all the healthcare heroes and people fighting on the front lines, for the doctors who risked their careers to go off protocol, and for everyone out there who's used their platform to help spread the truth. If it wasn't for you guys, my family would have never had the courage to fight like we did. My heart goes out to everyone who's suffered from this virus, and to all the families whose loved ones never made it home. For everyone fighting for their life right now, I pray that this video reaches your family and that you guys find the strength to never give up. Something is terribly wrong with what's going on in the world right now, and I hope you all can feel it. Scary patterns from the past appear to be repeating.
I want to be very clear.
This is not about freedom or personal choice.
And the places these paths lead to are never safe for anyone.
3 people have escaped from the Howard Springs COVID quarantine facility.
Another barrage before dawn.
It also gives Canadian banks the ability to freeze bank accounts without a warrant of anyone participating in this road blockade.
I know this video has the potential to divide, but I pray that instead it can unite and guide us through this pivotal moment in history.
I still have a dream.
It's all they ever talk about. Politicians and the media always pushing the things that separate us, things that make us different. That's the way the ruling class operates in any society. They divide the rest of the people. They keep the lower and the middle classes fighting with each other so that they, the rich, can run off with all the fucking money. Fairly simple thing. Fairly simple thing. Happens to work. Anything that's different about us, you know that's what they're pushing at you. Racial differences, religious, ethnic, national backgrounds, jobs, income, education, social status, sexuality, anything they can do to keep us fighting with each other so that they can keep going to the bank.
The unvaccinated overcrowd our hospitals, are overrunning emergency rooms and intensive care units.
Whenever a political elite pushes an agenda this hard and resort to extortion and manipulation to get their way, you can almost always be sure your benefit is definitely not what they had at heart.
We need more money to plan for the second pandemic. There's going to be another pandemic. We have to think ahead. And that's not something the last outfit did very well. That's something we've been doing fairly well. That's why we need the money. There are people who are dying and who will die who didn't have to. What more do you need to see?
So obviously I'm not a doctor or anything, but I think we have a right to see a success story despite what the powers that be think. And we're years, at least a few years past this pandemic, and we're looking back at all aspects of it. I think we absolutely have a right to watch something like that. And it's amazing how quick that healed him, isn't it? All right, let's keep going here. Got a few more things to look at.
I would like shortly to warn people from upcoming danger for humanity. The World Health Organization wants all countries to sign an agreement on handing over the authority to declare a pandemic, procure vaccine and drugs. It will be healthier and safer for humanity to sign agreement with the Colombian drug cartel. They know all about drugs for sure. During the COVID pandemic, World Health Organization only told lies. It should be declared a terroristic organization. They lied. That is a new and known virus. That is possible to make an effective vaccine. That the vaccine is 82% effective. That it protects against serious illness and deaths. That all, of course, were foolish and lies. Today, World Health Organization is more dangerous for humanity than World Economic Forum. Thank you.
Amen. Countries are leaving the World Health Organization, including America, of course. People are done. Very much done. All right, let's keep going. I got a few more things I want to show you here. We can take a look at some of these. Banks are closing. More than 100 branches have closed in 3 weeks as the closure bloodbath continues in 2025. People think that all banks are going to close. Maybe they will. Saudi Arabia is going to host the Arab Summit on Trump's Gaza plan. We're very friendly with Saudi Arabia these days. It's a good thing. It provides a place for us to get involved, a focal point, if you will. So I thought that was kind of important. Ron DeSantis is working on property tax, getting rid of it in Florida. Property taxes are local, not state. So we would need to do a constitutional amendment which requires 60% of voters to approve to eliminate them, which I would support, or even to reform or lower them. We should put the boldest amendment on the ballot that has a chance of getting that 60%. I agree that taxing land and property is the more oppressive and ineffective form of taxation. And I think the people that have the property that were involved in Hurricane Helene are getting a little relief finally, tax-wise.
How many Texans do you think are all on board with letting 7 million people cross into their state illegally? What percentage? Zero. I don't care what your race or national origin. Nobody is for that. That's insane. Has the governor of Texas done anything meaningful to stop that? No. The Republican governor? He's got a National Guard. He's the commander-in-chief of the National Guard, and it's Texas, so they're all large. And they have double-stack magazines in their sidearms. You think they couldn't stop that in a week if they... Of course. Just assemble along the border. We're not doing this. No, he refuses to do that. He won't do it. And it's not like no one suggested. I've suggested to him 3 times, including in private at a cocktail party in Dallas last year. What are you doing, man? Don't you have a National Guard? Why don't you seal the border? Oh, it's very complicated. No, it's not. No, it's not. If someone's trying to break into my house, it's not complicated to repel the person. Do you have a firearm or don't you? Are you willing to defend your house and your children, or aren't you? Well, it's more complicated. Really, tell me how. Speak slowly so I can understand. It's not more complicated than that. It's more dishonest than that. You're lying to me. You don't want to do it because your donors don't want you to do it. It's that simple. Greg Abbott. Liar. And worse than liar, betrayer of your own people. That's what that is. I was polite at the cocktail party, so I didn't say any of that, but I fumed internally like an Episcopalian. I thought those things. But the point is, if you assume that just because everybody wants something, you're going to get it, think again, pal. It's very likely that, in fact, you won't get anything that you want. You will just pay for what a small group of other people want.
Anyway, he makes a very good point there, doesn't he? I just wanted to show you that. I don't live in Texas, but maybe, some of these governors aren't exactly who we think they are, even if they're in the Republican Party. All right.
It's going to be interesting to see what resistance...
Well, the people who are squealing are the ones you want to pay attention to.
Right. Well, that's the thing is that, first of all, we were talking about this the other day. Me and my friends are saying part of the problem is these people can't conspire right now because all their phones are tapped. Mm-hmm. Everybody that, for sure.
Yeah.
Like if they're investigating you, if they're investigating these things, like the power that they have
is astronomical.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The power that they have to look into people's emails, look into people's phones, find out what text messages they're sending. They can look into your signal. All that's
Pegasus, baby.
Yeah, they look into everything. Yeah. So the idea that they're not doing that, if they're in the middle of some fucking multi-trillion-dollar investigation into rampant fraud, so they know that this is going on. So they can't conspire. And then they also have to worry about people taking deals. So there's going to be some people that squeal.
Good point.
And so then you don't know who's your fucking enemy and who's your friend. And everywhere you talk...
And there's a lot of deep state squealing happening right now. I think in that round table earlier, they were talking about Mayor Eric Adams of New York. Yeah, you got to question what's going on with him when these guys do a whole double take like that. When 1 minute they're with the bad guys and the next minute they're the good guys. Either they've been bought or they're sleepers or they're squealing. Anyway. It's driving me nuts. I got one more video for you guys before we go.
Let me tell you a little story about Doge.
The clock struck 2 a.m. on January 21st, 2025. In Treasury's basement, fluorescent lights hummed above 4 young coders. Their screens cast blue light across government...
Oh, that's not it. We already watched that, didn't we? Let me check. Maybe I don't have one more video for you guys. Either way, as we were talking about earlier, I don't think we can worry so much about the big picture, right? Oh, check this video out. Here's a cool one.
Got the circuit.
Can anyone tell me what I'm looking at? It's my WTF video for today. What is that? I mean, there were aspects of it that looked a little hokey or just too clean, but other aspects of it were pretty realistic. Anybody know? Maybe that's some kind of theme park or something. I'm totally missing the picture. There was something weird about that. I don't know. So I wanted to share that with you guys. What else am I missing here? There was something else. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, yep. I think that might be everything. Nonetheless, I'll be back with you tomorrow. I'll probably do an episode earlier in the day and an episode later in the day. Trump seems to be doing stuff on the weekends too, so I don't know. We'll see what we find. There's all kinds of weird things coming out. Just be careful. You know, if you're talking to somebody that's not into this stuff, doesn't believe in this stuff, or is not into politics, or is on the other side, try and start simple with them. Start with the blatant money abuse that's going on with U.S. aid and stuff. When you jump into these other topics that we don't know if they're true or not, we think it doesn't have much power to hurt the patriot community, but it really does. It really does, and it can turn people off. Even if there might be a chance that this or that's real, it's best to keep it simple. I know some of you here have husbands or wives that aren't into this side of things. Tell them what's going on with the money. The NGOs, the groups like Catholic Charities, Red Cross. It's all out there to see. And we're slowly taking back the media and shutting down the propaganda machine. What Trump did today was huge. Cutting off access to the Associated Press. That's never happened before. Ever. Nothing like that's ever happened before. And they've controlled our news. All of it. All of it. And for somebody like me who wanted to go into news early on and didn't because of what the Associated Press did. I'm pretty excited about it, really. So we'll see where all that goes, and yeah, keep it simple, keep it peaceful. Get out of your computers a little bit, get out of your phones a little bit, and focus on life outside of things. You know, I see a lot of younger people making these YouTube videos today. I'm lonely, I don't have any friends, and it's like, you're not gonna, I mean, you can find a good community here, but you need to interact with the people around you too. And so I don't know. That's where we're at right now. We still got a lot of work to do, guys. Each and every one of us. Remember The Called, The Activated. You should watch Juan O'Savin's The Called again sometime. Maybe we'll watch it again one night. Remember the key principal meaning of it, that we're all needed. We all have a voice. We all have a spirit, an energy about us. It's time to put it to work. Get that spirit building up. Get God on your side, and that'll really make it powerful. And if you try and live by His word, you're really working on something good. So God bless you guys, and much love. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you again to everybody, all of you. I know there's been letters and emails and donations and help, and all of you guys are great. We're working on building things up. Like I said earlier, I've worn out my $19 microphone. My old computer is like crawling along. I've had some good luck in that field and some help, angelic help coming. And again, what it really means to me more than anything is that that there's people out there that believe in me, and that really lights a fire under my ass, and not in a bad way. I mean, in a good way. That I really want to keep at it. The thing with these other guys that sort of are doing similar things to what I'm doing, a lot of them have teams working for them and teams collecting the news and stuff. They don't do it hands-on. I do everything by myself, so I see it all, I go through it all, I'm working on it all hands-on, and I think it makes a little bit of a difference when talking about some of this stuff. So, I don't know. Just throwing that out there, my friends. Now, go enjoy your Friday nights. Thank God it's Friday. I love you guys. I really do. God bless you. Each and every one of you. I want you to stay safe, happy, healthy. All right. I am out. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Folks, I believe that love is the answer, but you ought to own a handgun just in case.
Got the How would you like to be remembered? I mean, what would you like the first line of a history book about Robert Kennedy to say?
I think something about the fact that I made some contribution to either, my country or those who were less well off. I think, again, back to what Camus wrote about the fact that perhaps this world is a world in which children suffer, but we can lessen the number of suffering children. And if you do not do this, then who will do this? And I'd like to feel that I'd done something to lessen that suffering.
For 20 years, I've gotten up every morning on my knees and prayed that God would put me in a position where I can end the childhood chronic disease epidemic in this country. On August 23rd of last year, God sent me President Trump. All right. And he gave me. He's now given me, he's kept every promise that he's made to me. He's kept his word in every account and gone way beyond it. I'm so grateful to you, Mr. President. A lot of people told me that I couldn't trust President Trump. I better get it in writing. And we did a handshake, and everything that he told me he was going to do, he has done. Right. And I'm so grateful to him, and I've told you before, I genuinely believe that you are a pivotal historical figure, and you are going to transform this country.
If we declare war on the cartel, these dudes are not going to understand what the fuck is going on. They are in for a world of like ultra violence they've never actually felt before, because you know, obviously this is a very capable ultra violent organization. They have fucking no clue.
If you were like, yo, we're gonna wipe out a cartel tonight, I'd have been like, I'll load my frags extra careful.
If we organize these tier 1 units against them.
Is that a real thing that they've proposed doing?
Yes, that is a real thing.
Who proposed that?
Furthermore, I will order the Department of Defense to make appropriate use of special forces, cyber warfare, and other overt and covert actions to inflict maximum damage on cartel leadership, infrastructure, and operations. I will designate the major cartels as foreign terror.
Society didn't break you. It just made you think you were broken. From your first day in school, you learned to judge yourself, your grades, your looks, your achievements, your worth. Each time you couldn't match these perfect standards, you told yourself something was wrong with you. Each failure felt like proof you weren't enough. But nobody told you the secret. These impossible standards weren't made to help you grow. They were made to keep you doubting, keep you seeking, keep you thinking you needed to be fixed. Years of your life spent chasing an impossible perfect version of yourself. Years believing you weren't good enough as you were. Years trying to fix something that was never broken. Your quirks aren't flaws. Your differences aren't mistakes. Your humanity isn't something to apologize for. Stop trying to fix yourself. Start unlearning what the world taught you about being broken. You're not flawed. You're not broken. You're just human. And that's exactly what you're supposed to be.
Return to sender. Return to sender. I gave a letter to the postman. He put it in his sack. Bright and early next morning, he brought my letter back. She wrote upon it, return to sender. Address unknown. No such number. No such zone. We had a quarrel, a lover's spat. I write, I'm sorry, but my letter keeps coming back. So then I dropped it in the mailbox as in a special deed. Bright and early next morning, it came right back to me. She wrote upon it, return to sender. Address unknown. No such person. No such zone. This time I'm gonna take it myself and put it right in her hand. And if it comes back the very very next day, then I'll understand.
Riding on it.
Return to sender. Address unknown. No such number. No such zone. Return to sender. Return to sender. Return to sender.
I had a dream the other night. I didn't understand. A figure walking through the mist with a rifle in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by the bed. He took off his three-cornered hat and, speaking low, he said,
We fought a revolution to secure your liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave to make you the land of the free and home of the brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we thought you'd always keep. But tyrants labored endlessly while your parents were asleep. Now your freedom's gone, your courage is lost, you're no more than a slave in your land of the free and home of the brave. You buy permits to travel, permits to own a gun, permits to start a business or build a place for one. On land you think you own, you pay your yearly rent. But you don't have a voice in saying how that money's spent. Now your children attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about your current news in a regulated press and pay more taxes than you owe to that thing called IRS. Your money's no longer made of silver or of gold. You trade your wealth for paper so your life can be controlled. And you pay for crimes that make your nation turn from God in shame. Now you've taken Satan's number and traded in your name. You give your government control to those who could do you harm, so they could padlock churches and steal the family farm and keep the nation deep in debt while putting men of faith in jail, and then harass your fellow countrymen while your corrupt courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn, and now your daughters visit doctors so their children won't be born. You send guns and artillery to foreign shore, and then you send your youth to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Could you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died, or have you lost your courage and your faith to stand with pride? Are there no more values for which you fight to save? Or do you wish your children to live in fear and be a slave? And people of this republic, it's time to rise and take a stand. Defend the Constitution, the supreme law of your land. Preserve your great republic and every God-given right. And let us pray to God to keep that torch of freedom burning bright.
Income taxes. You realize that until 1913 in America, we had no income taxes. And the government thrived. It was doing just fine. Income taxes are the greatest fraud ever perpetrated on the American public. The Constitution forbids it, and yet we have it as an amendment. So what do income taxes do for the government? It relieves the burden from the government of actually doing any work. Don't have to collecting revenues. Don't have to be creative, don't have to do anything. And it has 50 million people that do their paperwork every year. Every year. So we do the work, fill out the forms, and give them all of the documentation of our life. And they just collect the money. I'm sorry, I just think that's the coolest joke ever perpetrated on a and unsuspecting people. Nobody's so unsuspecting.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore can love. It's all that I can give to you. Love is
we kissed, I fell under your spell of love. No one could deny. Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always want you. I can't live a lie, running for my life. I will always want you. I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break your walls. All you ever did was wreck me. Yeah, you wrecked me. I put you high up in the sky, and now you're not coming down. It slowly turned, you let me burn, and now we're ashes on the ground. Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always want you. I can't live a lie, running for my life. I will always want you. I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love.
We're all going to die one day. In 100 years, none of this will matter. The things we stress about today will be forgotten. Stop stressing about minor inconveniences and don't let small setbacks ruin your day. Your car breaks down, it's just a temporary problem. You're late for a meeting, life goes on. We often worry about things that won't matter in the long run. A bad day at work, an argument with a friend, a missed deadline. These are all fleeting moments. Life is far too short for unnecessary worries. Focus on what truly matters. Cherish your loved ones, follow Jesus, and live your life to the fullest. Don't get caught up in material possessions. Remember eternity. Take risks and embrace opportunities. Appreciate the simple joys in life. And remember, we're all just passing through on this earth. We have content that helps you become 1% better each day. If you're willing, just take a look. Have a good life, my friend. Hope to see you again.